Wednesday SportsCage. Here we go. Barney Shynkaruk, Derek Bidwell.
Hey, buddy.
Colson, Curtis, and all of you out there in SportsCage land. Yes, Bidsy. Here we go. Another week. It is for the Saskatchewan Rough Rider Foundation. 5 o'clock today is the early bird prize deadline. 5 p.m. Sasky time. You're going to buy a 50-50 for the game anyway, right? Like that's usually what you do. You go to a Rider game or you can't go to the game. You still want to throw your chance in the or throw your name in the hat for the prize. So you buy the 50-50, riders5050.ca. You're covered off for the game, and then if you do it before 5 o'clock, you get the early bird. You're in for the early bird, which is a trip to the Dominican Republic, flights, accommodations, shuttle transfers. If you don't want to go to the Dominican, maybe you don't got a passport. Maybe you don't like the sun and the fabulous beaches. Actually, the one side is really nice beaches. That's Punta Cana. Been there once. Then the other side is something Plata, maybe, and it's a little more rocky. They say, yeah, I think that it's a little more rocky.
Okay.
But why wouldn't a girl or guy want to get in on the early bird before 5 o'clock? If you don't want to, you just take $5,400 cash.
Yeah, that's okay too.
Yeah, what would you do? Oh, that's a tough one for me.
I don't know. Maybe I'll just weigh in to see how I'm doing with the missus. I don't know if I'm in the doghouse. I think we go.
If you're in the doghouse, take a buddy.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's the best way. Give her some time. Give her some space. I don't know. It also depends how cold it is too. Maybe if it's going to be freezing, that always really influences you, right? Like you go outside and snow and minus whatever, and then you're like, you know what? No, we got to go somewhere warm, and that could influence things too. Either way, why wouldn't you get in on it? Because you're just cheating yourself if you don't.
Would it influence you if it said, "I'd go with you, Derek"? Bidsy? Take me to the beach?
No,
that wouldn't. No.
Please?
For everyone out there, that was Curtis who chimed in on that. That's Curtis's one chime in of the day, brought to you by, we don't have a sponsor for it yet. The program, 3 hours we're here for. It came out today. Rough Rider Player Award nominees. We're going to tackle that. Dave Thomas got us some audio. People probably won't be surprised on who the most outstanding player nominee for the Riders is. We're going to run down that right away. We have Mark Bracken, chair of the 2025 Canadian Men's Baseball Championship, coming to Regina next year. He's also in ending hour one, Regina Thunder running back, Ryland Leichert, as they coming off that massive win against Bidsy's alma mater and the Saskatoon Hilltops, getting ready for the Okanagan Sun.
Good for them. I'm on the bandwagon now.
Yeah, you got to be. Sasky. Wave the Sasky flag.
Right? Yep.
Ryland Leichert's going to join us at the end of hour one. Hour two, Eric Francis, our NHL insider for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southie, Saskatchewan. I want to touch on the WHL Cup. You got to remind, it's starting today. It's a big deal in the hockey world for players that are WHL draft eligible this year. So that's Sasky starting today. And that Scott Schultz, Rider great. Yeah. We're gonna ask him about the Riders. Obviously, we also got to ask. He's coaching high school football. We're going to ask him how his Greenall Griffins, is that what they are, Colson? Former Greenall Griffin, Colson Schultz?
Barely, but yeah. Yes, they're the Greenall Griffins.
Hey, you played.
They are the Griffins.
Did you get a ring?
No.
Did you get a jacket?
No. No.
You have a Griffin tattoo?
I probably have my mouth guard somewhere. I wouldn't put it on anymore.
Griffin's tattoo on the back of your calf.
No. Yes. That's a good one.
Yeah. It was the sort of football players. It was the football players' version of the barbed wire tattoo, the Pamela Anderson barbed wire Baywatch tattue.
No, the lower back tattoo
around the arm.
Greenall was not the wagon that they are now back then. That's all I'm saying. So no, none of that memorabilia.
Okay. Hour three, Farhan Lalji from TSN. The NFL news. Hopkins to Kansas City. Is that confirmed yet? Like, did they rubber stamp that? DeAndre Hopkins going to play receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs now? Oh, Chief fans must be pumped. People that do not like the Chiefs, kind of like me.
I don't believe it's rubber stamped yet, but we'll keep on top of it. But yes, if you do like the Chiefs, that's big news.
And then also in hour 3, Mark Steffen. That's your boy.
Yeah.
Why don't you give him a little tease?
Mark Stevens.
Stevens.
Mark Stevens is the play-by-play guy for the Calgary Stampeders, a former colleague of mine when I was working there in Calgary. Mark has been the play-by-play voice of the Stampeders for about, I think it's 28 years. Got inducted into the CFL Hall of Fame in the broadcasting wing. And, he will help set up the Stamps Riders matchup and talk about the opposition and what went wrong this year and what quarterback they're going after next year, because they need one in Cowtown.
Vernon Adams Jr.
Yeah, well, whoever they decide to go. Yeah, whoever BC goes with, they're going after the other guy.
Or Trey Ford. You just rent a U-Haul, haul his stuff from Edmonton down the road.
Straight down, meet him halfway. Meet him in Red Deer at the Tim Hortons, right on the highway.
Maybe one of the riot, or maybe Shea Patterson will become a bait. Just kidding. Rider fans, settle down.
Yeah.
So that's the program for the next 3 hours. A lot to get to. Also, the high school football, like I mentioned with Schultz, like that gets fired here tomorrow. And it's this kind of the city teams going at it tomorrow. Obviously, not a lot of traveling. Although trying to get from one end of the city to the other sometimes is a battle. We got Miller Laboldus. It's on Friday. It's not tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Friday at 5:15, and then Campbell Riffle at 7:30. Both at Mosaic Stadium. Then Bidsy, all the small town, the 6-a-side, 9-a-side. Like, this is good stuff. This starts heavy on the weekends, right? Because there's a lot of travel involved. We want people. So my wife brought this up, Mrs. S. Very observant. She was listening to the show yesterday, obviously heckling me. And she said, hi@sportscage.com is the email that we want people to send in their Friday night lights. Let us know what we can hype up. What's the canteen? Like the Q-Par game, didn't we hype up? They had like chili on a bun or something. Whatever you want, you have to send it to us though and let us know because we love it. But she said, is it high as in H-I-G-H? And I was like, no, it's H-I. And she's like, well, that's really confusing. Because she thought high school?
Oh, I was wondering, high?
No.
Yeah.
That's, hey, leave my weekends out of it. It's hi@sportscage.com. That it totally made sense. So if you have any kind of high school, what we should talk about, Friday Night Lights, it's for Regina Motor Products. $20 off your tire changeover. Keep an eyeball on the weather, because if you have winter tires, don't be that person that doesn't put them on early enough, and then that snowfall is going to come, and you're going to be trying to get up a hill, or you're going to try to get through a 4-way stop, and you're just going to be spinning.
And you don't give yourself or you don't give yourself enough time, and you're still in a rush that morning. You go to work and there's snow, and you go zipping right through an intersection or something like that, or into the back of somebody else. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy or girl. It goes right. Yeah. Oh, I couldn't stop. Yeah, because it's icy and you got summer slicks on. Yeah. It's not going to work. Yeah. Put the winter tires on. I would like to see it mandated. I think it's is it in BC or where is it? That's Quebec?
In BC, in like the mountain areas, it's mandated that you need a minimum. I think it's like mud and snow tires for a certain time of the year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, or chains if you're a big truck.
Yeah, chain guy.
There's
driving through the mountains, and you got those signs, chain up area. I'm like, I want to be chain guy.
You want to be the chain guy. You know what some people do though year round, and I noticed this and more.
Move
this year than any time. Move, get out of Saskatchewan. I talked to a buddy today. He said, this is a very well-off guy. He said, getting ready to go to Cabo. I go to Cabo for 5 months. I'll see you back in May. And we'll go golfing and we'll go for lunch. And he's leaving in like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, he'll be on the airplane. He's loud shirt, rolled up sleeve on the airplane guy, unbuttoned a bit. He's already hit the tanning bed a number of times.
Yeah, looking good. But you know what I was going to say though about tires though really quickly before we get off track too much. This summer more than any other, I've noticed people, you can hear them coming or hear them driving through the parking lot where they got the studded tires and they're just clicking. They're like a tap dancer going through the parking lot and you can just hear them clicking away through. And I'm like, you kept those suckers on all summer long. You got nails in your tires all summer long. Wow. All right. I don't know if they're really that studded by the time winter comes around again. I think, but maybe they are. I don't know. Anyway, some people are. There's not very many, but some people are year-round studded tire people as well, too.
Is that a lazy thing or awareness thing? Or just,
I think it's a lazy thing.
Yeah. You just wrecked them then. Yeah, I've heard that too. It's like August. It's like that person seriously has their studded tires still on?
Well, that person has a lot of rocks in their tires. No. They got studs in their tires. They're still driving them.
Imagine their house. Imagine their house. Oof. Talk about. Yeah. So Rough Rider Award nominee, most outstanding player. We don't even need a drum roll. Roland Milligan Jr. He's also the nominee, most outstanding defensive player, most outstanding special teams player. Rightly so. Definitely. I think everybody in Rider Nation is going to say it. Dave Thomas caught up to him just about a half hour ago after practice.
Roland Milligan Jr., you're nominated as the team's most outstanding player, most outstanding defensive player, and most outstanding special teams player. What's the feeling when you hear that you've been nominated and given 3 individual awards?
It's an honor for sure. Just being recognized for just, putting in work all year, off season, coming back from injury.
So what does it mean for you to go up against the top players in this league in those categories?
I think it just kind of validates how I feel about myself. Everybody has that personal thought about who they are as a player. And like I said, just other people thinking the same thing just lets me know I've been doing what I'm supposed to do.
We've started it. There's a lot going on online when people are campaigning for you to be the most outstanding player. What does it mean when you see that?
I love it, man. It makes me feel good, but it just kind of shows who our fans are. We already know that, but it's just another aspect of them showing who they are as fans and how much they appreciate us and love us.
I know it takes a lot of people to get you to this point. Who is the most outstanding person to get you to where you are today?
It'll either be, my wife.
There we go.
Even though she ain't on the team, in the building. Either CJ Reeves or Coach Bell. Coach Bell helped me a lot with my development this season and just the way I approach my preparation every week. And then CJ just pushing me every day in practice in the film room just to be who I'm supposed to be, who everybody expects me to be. He holds me to a standard, so it keeps me going, making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do so I can lead how I'm supposed to lead and then carry that over into game day.
Finally, what's the last award you've won?
The last?
I'll take spelling bee, anything.
I think my senior year in college, I won Defensive Player of the Year for our team. So that was 2015? Yeah, 2015.
That was funny. That was Dave saying spelling bee. I'll take anything. Last award you won.
Yeah. I don't know if I could even answer that. I would have to say I'd have to be a ribbon of some sort in track.
My kids probably made me something like a number 1 dad or something. I'd consider that an award. A cheat.
Sure.
But what a deserving nominee. I think probably everybody knew that was coming. We are going to tackle most outstanding Canadian, most outstanding lineman, and most outstanding rookie as we go along in the show here. But it's time for our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk some men's baseball big championship coming to Regina. It is the All New SportsCage on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Bidsy, Colson, Curtis, myself, hope you're having a great day out there. Nice day in the Queen City weather-wise, too. Really chilly this morning, though. Woke up.
It was up here, too, yeah.
There's still people finishing harvest. Like, there's some of those huge farmers, girls and guys, they are still finishing. I know that for a fact because some around the Watson area messaged yesterday that they're listening to the show. So they, they're still.
You must have a lot of sections of land if you're still going. I would assume what some of those massive farmers do.
Huge section, girls and guys. Okay, let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. What is it? Wednesday. Grab a pie, generous amount of toppings, all the Greek food you love from Western Pizza. It's always great. We're talking baseball. It's the Yankees and Dodgers start the World Series tomorrow. Dodgers are a 1.5 point favorite in that one. But we're talking senior men's baseball. And Mark Bracken's joining us right now on the Western Pizza guest hotline. It's coming to Regina, the national championship next year. They had a little get-together yesterday, the Regina Trappers, boys and girls from that club. They were there this year, fell short in the final. Mark, it's super exciting that we're going to see this event in the Queen City next year.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having us on to chat about this championship. It's going to be huge. It hasn't been in the province for over 25 years. We're excited about hosting it. The Regina Trappers, as you mentioned, the last 2 years have lost in the gold medal final to Team Quebec by a one-run score in Red Deer and a 2-0 just this past August in Tecumseh, Windsor. So they're right there. The boys in Saskatchewan are competitive. They're looking forward to hosting it at home. And we've got our host organizing committee up and running, and we can't wait for all 10 teams from every province in Canada to join us next August for this tournament.
It's a great get for the great people in the Queen City and Tourism Saskatchewan. Maybe just describe a little bit more the format of the tournament. How many teams over how many days?
Yeah, it'll be so it's going to be August 20th to 24th. So 26 games. So 10-team tournament representing every province in Canada. Regina Trappers being the host team. 2 pools of 5, and then you go to a semi and a final. So it kicks off on the Wednesday evening with kind of a Major League Baseball style home run derby, which is fun. So every team gets to pick one hitter, and we do a home run derby and crown the home run champion of senior men's baseball in Canada. So that happens Wednesday night, and then Thursday morning they get going with round robin play. Like I said, 26 games, 10 teams. Sunday afternoon will be the late afternoon will be the gold medal game. So a lot of baseball and quality caliber baseball as well, I must say.
Yeah, let's go down that because you talked about that yesterday. Like for people that are wondering what kind of baseball is this? First off, I got to say the beer gardens are going to be absolutely humming over the 4 or 5 days. I love that. I can't wait to take that in. Now that home run derby, having a few 016s, watching that on a nice August evening in Saskatchewan, like paint that picture in your mind. That's beautiful. But this is good ball, right, Mark?
Yeah, like this, there's a lot of senior men's baseball leagues going around the province and guys still playing, but this is just the best caliber of senior men's in the country. So a good portion of the rosters from all the provinces have guys that were major league drafted, went through the minors, and now are a little bit older, but still very competitive and still have the skill set to be great players. Pretty much every player coming from all provinces will be a former collegiate level player. And a lot of guys fresh out of those independent leagues like the Frontier, the Can-Am, like some of the Quebec players, like just a year or two ago, were playing for Trois-Rivières or something in one of those independent leagues. So this is the top level of amateur baseball that you will see in Canada. And guys, ranging from mid-20s to like late 30s.
Right on.
Speaking of pops and enjoying pops, as Shink said, painting that picture for the home run derby, that sounds like a great evening at the ballpark for sure. But a lot of pops in the bat as well too. Like you said, the caliber of ball players that are coming here. Who else was in the running for this one, Mark? Was it down to you and another city, or still a few near the end?
Yeah, I only got involved after the bidding process. So something that maybe Coach Nolan Desatel could answer if you bring him on later, because he was really active, him and Matt Miller, in the bidding process. And I kind of came on after the bid was accepted and asked to chair the committee. So I apologize, but I can't answer how many bids that they actually got, Baseball Canada. But
that's definitely Nolan and Matt Miller will be making sure that the beer gardens are stocked. I know that for sure as well. It's going to be a great event. In closing, like, you guys are looking for volunteers. You're looking for sponsors. Maybe just give yourselves a plug here. Like, if someone wants to get behind this, a company, a business, anything to sponsor, like, what's in it for them? What kind of packages do you guys have?
Yeah, so we got a full-blown sponsorship package developed, and we've got all kinds of levels from, somebody that wants to get involved at that $500 or $750 range, right up to a presenting sponsor at $10,000. So all kinds of ranges of opportunities for businesses and larger corporations to get involved. Our goal is to raise a minimum of $25,000 in corporate sponsorship, and we're confident that the business community will come through. So what we're focusing on as a host committee in the next 3 to 4 months is that corporate sponsorship solicitation, and some of the planning and ticket sale and further marketing to get fans into the park will be, spring to summer. But right now we're really trying to confirm our finances through corporate sponsorship. So yeah, we have a package. We have all kinds of levels that you can get involved. The other thing we're doing is we're really looking at a live stream, a fairly extensive professional live stream of the entire tournament. So that gives corporations, businesses that extra opportunity to advertise and to have their brand and logo and advertising opportunities through live streaming of all events. So
that's a great idea. Yeah, well, we'll be keeping tabs on it. We'll be hopefully involved. It's a great ball. It's going to be an awesome event in the Queen City. Mark, let's catch up in a bit and see where things stand, and appreciate you taking some time today.
Well, thanks for coming last night, and thanks for having us on right away today. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Mark Bracken, chair of the 2025 Senior Men's Baseball Championship, coming to Regina, Saskatchewan. Bidsy, like I said, let's be honest, that'll be a fun event. Just hanging kind of out in the gardens, watching some ball. I can't eat sunflower seeds, the whole gout problem. I've talked about that before. But just sitting in there, having a few nice summer night. And these guys, I watched last year into the final. Watching the Regina, the Trappers. This is good ball. They were showing highlights yesterday. Like, lots of jacks. Like, over the monsters or the fences, whatever. It's it'll be exciting. Hopefully the sports cage is all over it, right? We want to be all over this.
I was going to say, hopefully the sports cage can be live maybe there from the beer gardens when they're doing the home run derby or something like that. That would be a fun one to be at. I remember way back in the day, I had a chance to try out with the here in Saskatoon, our senior men's team. There was a few of them, but the one that was the better one was the Dodgers. And back when I was playing, as you like to call it, hardball instead of baseball.
Yeah.
And yes, very good ball. I made the team as a backup catcher, and didn't go the baseball route. Went with the Hilltops instead. I would have been doing a lot of watching, I think, had I played or had I accepted that role, because yes, very good baseball. Senior men's is really good, and it's gotten a lot better since
since you tried talking out, about for sure.
Yeah,
it has.
Since I was going to be the backup catcher. I don't think I would even get invited to camp. No, I'm pretty sure of that. But yeah, it should be good.
Probably not.
No, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic.
It's good. Yeah, no, we'll have Mark back on. We'll have one of the coaches, and we'll keep tabs on it. But $10,000 to be the title sponsor of that event and all the stuff you're going to get, you're going to get a lot of legs for your corporation, and you want to jump in, like you said, and you can go down to $500, $750 if you want to just be a part of it. So bringing in a lot of economic turn into the city as well. So it'll be good. Time for a quick break. It's the All New SportsCage. If you're watching that stream, sportscage.com. We're going to talk more football in a moment. We're going to be joined by Ryland Leichert from the Regina Thunder as they get ready for the Okanagan Suns Sunday at 1 o'clock. Hockey-wise, Bidsy, like yesterday, I know we got Eric Francis coming up in hour 2, our NHL insider for Southie Mainline Chrysler. Every team played yesterday, and I was like, I talked a big game here. I was like, oh, I'm going to sprinkle. I can't wait. What a night. I'm going to go and play a sports select, gonna play this and all that. Ended up shuttling kids around. I went to the baseball thing as well. Get home and I'm like, well, everything started already. I couldn't play any first goal, but no first goal bets. Couldn't do anything. So ended up just panicking and just having some fun on a little bit. Oilers hooped me. They lost 2-goal lead. Flames win again. So NHL tonight, it is obviously after that yesterday, a very quiet night in the NHL with Flyers Capitals going again. SJHL, Benny Walchuk, he's taking his show into LA tonight as Yorkton takes on L'Orange. WHL, this is what I wanted to talk about. WHL, I had a text. What does it say? The Saskatoon Blades are playing host to the Seattle Thunderbirds in Saskatoon. He said, long-time listener, first-time caller. Just cruising through the DQ in Davidson. Blades tonight, $5 tickets, $5 burgers, $5 beers. I don't know. What if you want French fries? You probably got to pay full price. But that's a heck of a deal. He says, novel idea, actually inviting people to and more people to want to come to your game. So yeah, thanks for that text. It says BM.
Yeah, it's a good one, Manny. It's really good. They're expecting a little over 6,000 for this one, and I know there's a lot of. I've talked to some buddies that have kids in college at the U of S here at the university, and they're all fired up. Like there's colleges that are going, the College of Commerce, the Agros, they're all going, because this is $5 night, right? $5 ticket, $5 beer, $5 burger. Right there, you're only 15 deep, and they're getting buses to go out, which I guess is a few more bucks, but then you get a couple of pops, and you got a Safeway there and back. So, yeah, They're all over this. U of S students are all over this. And if the Blades win, then on the way out, you get a voucher for another ticket for another game, for a future game. So there you go. That's a pretty good deal, man.
I wonder how many of those, especially the Agros, for sure, how many are going to opt out of the burger and maybe just double up on the pop? I got $10. I'm going to go double pop. Maybe one's a shotgun, try and get on the camera, be that guy on the big screen. Like, and think about this. Like, that Saskatoon barn's a big barn too, right? It
is.
I don't know
for WHL, yeah.
If they'll have the upper deck curtained off or what they'll do, but then the lower bowl will be really full. It'll be awesome. But as a player, on the Blades, like that's just now you got some home ice advantage. Now you hit that ice buzzing. You got 7,000 people. Is that what they're expecting around for tonight? 6,000, 7,000?
Well, they have 6,000 right now. They're hoping they can get closer to that. They don't know what their walk-up's going to be, but they have 6,000 sold, or they did have 6,000 sold about an hour ago. So they could get a big walk-up, because I know a lot of, like I said, a lot of people I know are just they're making plans to go. They're just going to walk up and go. It's $5. They don't got any plan. They got $40 in their pocket, and they're going to come walking up and get a ticket and a few pops. You don't even need to hit the ATM. You probably have that in your. In your car, in your ashtray or whatever, if you still have an ashtray. If you do, that's awesome. And then get to go watch the Blades and Seattle Thunderbirds tonight for $5
$8. Thanks to that text that came in, because I wanted to mention that. I thought that was pretty cool. Also, the Calgary Hitmen are in Medicine Hat to take on the Tigers. Wenatchee's in Everett, and Victoria travels to Kelowna this evening in the WHL. SJHL last night, Yorkton won. Did you catch wind of the appeal? Nothing came down yet on the appeal, that they're appealing the 3 games that they lost for the eligible player. Unfortunate there. We had Benny Walchuk on the SJHL report yesterday, and we were talking about that. And it's like, Yorkton's they're appealing it, which is great, just to try and put up some sort of fight. To say, what's the worst thing that could happen? They say nothing changes. You throw it out there that you're appealing it. Maybe it goes down to you only lose 2 or 1 of the games. So,
okay. So for those that don't know, give us the Coles notes here really quick. That are listeners that aren't aware.
Yeah. So if you haven't tuned in all week, let me just kind of pull up some of the notes I made. Big note guy on my phone. So what happened was the Yorkton Terriers signed a player back on October 4th, Keenan Ingram, solid player. I think he's a 20-year-old coming in. And what happens, and RP was on here on Monday with the show, it's all electronic now. You put in your player card into Hockey Saskatchewan. I've never done it, so don't quote me on all this. I'm just kind of giving you the rough idea. And then now that player is registered with Hockey Saskatchewan. It's a player card.
Okay.
Back in the day, it used to actually be a card you'd fill out. So what happened, just somewhere along the way it fell through the cracks that they didn't register him with Hockey Saskatchewan. So he played. He's a good player. And it got caught somehow. Some just flagged. So the SJHL took away 3 wins for the Yorkton Terriers. So those wins are gone. Their points are stripped. All the stats stay for all the players, but there are now losses. So then Yorkton yesterday put in the appeal to say, hey, let's have another look at this and see if we can't appeal it.
Okay.
We owe it to our fans. We owe it to try and fight this a bit. There's a lot of things here. Like, again, we talked about it on Monday. It's like, luckily they caught it now. Oh. Like it didn't drag on. And I think that maybe, again, I'm not, in the dressing room and in the front office of, I don't know, maybe something triggered it or flagged it that it did come up, but it's only 3. And Yorkton's a good hockey team. So they're going to win. They're going to get that back. Obviously a huge win on the road last night in Flin Flon. Like we had Benny on the show yesterday, 3-0 in Flin Flon. And then they're doing the northern swing. So they're in LA tonight to take on the Ice Wolves. But yeah, they lost their points. So they got 12 points now.
Question with this though is that so is this player is officially registered, so now he is still with the team, and
no,
now,
he can never play hockey again. He literally had to get rid of all of his hockey equipment. Just kidding. Yeah, no, he's still with the team. The look on your face.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
What? How would that be? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so he just wasn't registered.
Colson was shocked too.
I was like, how the heck do you track that? They don't have that in the budget.
Yeah, until you said he got rid of all of his hockey gear, of course. Then I knew you're. You're okay. So everything's fine. Okay, he wasn't registered. Now he's registered. Everything's good moving forward. But it's those 3 games that fell through the cracks. He wasn't registered, and they're appealing. Okay, gotcha.
10 games played, 8 points for Keenan Ingram for the Yorkton Terriers. So he's a good player. Like I said, Yorkton's a good team. They'll bounce back. But yeah, now they're just they're trailing Weyburn in that Viterra division. Shout out Kyle Jaworski by 3 points, and then trailing Melville by 5 points. That's a tight division. That Viterra division in the SJ is a tight one this year. So there's just some SJ talk. Yeah, Bidsy, I wanted to keep you up to date on that as well, and what's going on. Sunday, 1 p.m. at Leibel Field. It's the Regina Thunder and the Okanagan Sun. National semifinal. Weather's still supposed to be good, right, Colson? Weather's holding for Sunday. I know, throwing you in the spot. But they're expecting, so when we had Scott McCauley on earlier this week, he said about 1,000 people. But they got the berm situation at Libel, so I think people can sit and all that. I think if it's go ahead, weather check.
Last we checked, I think it was 15 degrees. It's bumped up to 16 now.
16.
Whoa!
Wow, there we go.
That's tropical. And is there wind though? If there's no wind, because Regina gets windy.
Gusts up to 35.
That's not bad.
Steady wind of 20.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. Weather.
That's not bad.
Weather on the ones brought to you by. Good job, Colson. Yeah, no. So the weather's going to be good. If we could get 1,500, I don't know how that works. An outdoor. If anyone is your dad, maybe your dad can answer this, Colson, old fire chief. Is there a fire code at a outdoor event? Like, would there be a fire marshal, the code, we only can sell 1,100 tickets, or we only could sell 1,200, because it's like an outdoor venue like that, and you can kind of walk around the berm, or you can not walk, you can sit around the berm and all that. Can you just kind of pack in until you're good with no roof? Are you looking it up right now? I can't believe I've never asked this question before. Bidsy, you're pondering.
I don't know the answer to that either. What happens if there's like I don't know, a coyote or a wolf gets in there? So everybody scrambles for the exits and they stampede on each other. Would that still be a factor? Like, understand.
Well, you can hop the fences are hoppable. So if you're under the age of 40, you can easily hop the fence, I think.
Okay.
Are you looking at Colson? If we have any fire marshals out listening right now, can you text in the Capital Ford Lincoln text line? 936 6262. But yeah, we're hoping to get Ryland Leichert on from the Regina Thunder. Hopefully after this break. You are listening to the Sports Cage on the home of sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. We are playing SaskTel Pick the Score today. If anybody wants to go to the Riders Stamps game, pick the score. Name, number, where you're from. What do you think the score is going to be? The game is heard right here on 620 CKRM with the Croft Electric. Countdown to kickoff starting at 2 p.m. Rider Nation pregame show goes at 4, and then kickoff at 5 p.m. You're going to be on the sideline, Derek, as you're the sideline guy. It's going to be an interesting one, right? If the Bombers beat the Als, I'm curious on, and then the whole ratio and then the roster size and all that. You can't like sit guys. Guys got to play. I don't know though. Would you play Harris?
If Winnipeg loses, I am playing Harris, of course. If Winnipeg wins,
of course.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just about to finish it off. If Winnipeg wins,
okay, so that's the obvious one. If Winnipeg wins, do I play Harris? No, I don't think so. No, just with his history and his age and just the importance of him being in the lineup, and no, I don't think so. And because they're in the they're back in action the next week. Like I said, I think it's a little more. I think it's a little more of a tricky situation for Montreal, who the Bombers are playing, because the Bombers also then have, the Alouettes also then have a bye the next week, right? Too. So there's some other things to think about there. So I think it's going to be a little bit more for them to think about, but it'll be different.
There we go. I'm glad I asked that question. We have Ryland Leichert. He's joining us here, as we mentioned, from the Regina Thunder, heading to the national semifinal this weekend against the Okanagan Sun. Ryland, congratulations. Let's go back to the game against the Toppers. They beat you guys twice. It's tough to beat a team 3 times, and you guys proved that. Game plan go as planned on that day for you?
Executed perfectly. I think that as a team, we really rallied and stepped up. The leaders stepped up and really showed what we need to do to set the standard to beat the Hilltops. At the end of the day, we were sick of losing. We went on, I think, 5 straight losses to them. So we talked as a team. We said, what do we need to do to get over this hump? And we put a game plan together. The coaches did a great job, and we executed.
When you're old like us and you look back at that game, what's the one memory that you're going to have?
Definitely after the game, when I saw my family for the first time, that was an emotional moment for me where, you kind of, that initial hype, you celebrate with your teammates. It was an honor to go up with the other captains and bring the trophy back to the players and celebrate as a whole. But definitely when I saw my mom for the first time, gave her a hug, I started breaking down a little bit. And it was really cool because, those are the people who supported me throughout football since I was a young guy. So to celebrate with them meant the most to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Two-headed kind of monster back there for you guys with Sadiq, 178 yards, and then you had 118 on 20 carries. That works perfectly, right? Like it's not going to be cold on Sunday with Okanagan coming in here, but still tough, right? With two guys back there that can run.
100%. I think that we play off each other so well, and we both take pride in how hard we block for each other to make lanes, so we never really have to be taken off the field. And then, with running the ball, you control the clock so well, and it keeps the defense, fresh. So when the Hilltops do come on, they're ready to go. So in a lot of aspects, running the ball does control the game, we feel. So to have two guys who can do that is huge for us.
Was it extra special getting that victory against the Hilltops on their turf, literally on their turf, in front of a big crowd in Saskatoon?
Definitely. We were pumped to play there, especially because if it was in Regina, we would have played at Mosaic, and our family can't come on the field after. So like I said, to have your family support and see the other guys who aren't dressing on the team come on the field was huge. And I always tell people too, I love playing.
Oh, he cut out. Is he coming back? Oh, we lost him. We're gonna have to bring him back because that was a really good. That was a really good question. What are you guys laughing at? I'm not laughing. I'm sad. No. That's weird. Hey, the one I want to ask him, they can't go on the field at Mosaic Stadium if they win?
Yeah, I know. They got to go just to the edge and just talk to them just at the edge there. So in the bottom row. Yeah, no, they can't go on the field.
Is he back? Okay.
Hey, sorry about that, guys. Back here.
Sorry. Are you in Porcupine Plain? Is the internet sketchy or what?
In Regina, but it's not doing great.
No. Okay, that was great, and you were talking about that, but we only have about a minute and a half here left. I want to ask you: is it a challenge for you guys as running backs because Okanagan's got this stud that played like Boise State, all that? Is that a challenge for you guys against Okanagan here on Sunday?
Definitely. Like I said before, the run game controls the clock, and we know that it's a physical offensive lineman, love getting upfield and blocking smaller guys, right? So we think that we can control the clock with our run game.
Jeez. This isn't...
Porcupine Plain. It's got terrible internet in Porcupine Plain.
He must live near where Dave Thomas... We used to was living there when his internet. Well, you know what? Let's bring him back after Eric Francis. We'll get him back after 4:00. I know we're up against news here. It is the All New SportsCage. Technical difficulties, live radio. It's what happens. Thanks for staying with us. If you're watching the stream, sportscage.com, or listening on the radio, 620 CKRM. Hour 2, hour 1 in the books. Sorry about the Ryland Leichert. We'll get him back. We're gonna get him back about 4:25. And I want you to ask your question again, and then see if we can pick it up right where we left off. Getting some messages coming in here as well about the $5 ticket night up in Saskatoon, Blades and Thunderbirds. People are just tuning in, maybe to drop them. It's just crazy. Like Bidsy was like, it's $5 to get in to the hockey game. Then you can get a $5 burger, and you get a $5 beer.
Yep. $15, everything, you're set up right there.
$15. Go watch the Saskatoon Blades Seattle Thunderbirds tonight. One of 4 games in the Western Hockey League.
Time now for Inside the NHL with Eric Francis on the All New SportsCage. Inside the NHL is brought to you by Southie Mainline, the Mainline Automotive Group's newest king of trucks. Southie Mainline, just 30 minutes north of Regina. Worth the drive every time. Guaranteed.
If you're watching the stream, you see him. He's joining us on the stream again. We're that in Port. Eric Francis, you were there for news, so you got your Regina and Saskatchewan news. Anything there, intriguing to you?
Well, I didn't sense that it was snowing there. Is that correct? I didn't. I wasn't listening intensely. But it's not snowing there?
Not snowing. Very nice day.
Okay. Yep. Good. Yeah, we had snow yesterday, and so that wasn't fun for us. But it's gone now, so we don't talk about it. But I want to make it a daily staple for me to tune in at 4 o'clock and hear what's going on locally. There's nothing better than hearing another city's news. Completely irrelevant to my life, but I want to hear it.
Yeah, we're just waiting for what was it, a pipe or a water main break where you guys were on that water ban for 14 months in Calgary.
Yeah. You know what? I'm glad you enjoyed that news because that was fun for everybody. I still only drink vodka now. I don't drink water. We all had to adapt and learn, and I actually think some good came out of it, so that's not bad.
Your liver's loving that. Last night in Calgary, talk about a game, right? I stupid. I chased a parlay. Oilers win, Flames win. Flames come in the shootout. Was that play? Were you there? That place must have been going nuts.
Yeah. Oh, it was insane. It was almost symbolic of just how crazy all of this is for the Calgary Flames so far this season. I know it's only 2 weeks in, but yeah, it was an insane game. I thought you were going to say you tuned it out because you didn't think the Flames could come back. But of their 5 wins, 3 of them are come from behind victories, and that's kind of their MO now. I get those people who on opening night may remember Flames down 4-1 in Vancouver and looking like they're probably the 32nd best team in the National Hockey League, and then end up winning that game too. So yeah, it's fun here right now. It really is.
What's the deal with Kirkland, right? He's kind of a minor leaguer. No one really hears about him. You tap him on the shoulder to go in. Heck of a move. Heck of a goal there. It's got to be some sort of tie-in with Costco with a last name like that. But yeah, what a play by him. Who is he?
Well, Costco, you're correct. That is his nickname. And every time he scores, hot dogs are $1.50. And it comes with a large pop. No, they don't do that, but that's my idea. I think that'd be fun.
That's a great idea.
Right?
Yeah.
Freeze those prices, baby. But he's a great story. I rarely find myself on the broadcast or in print talking about fourth line muckers, but this guy is 28 years of age, never played his first. He was a 3rd round draft pick in Nashville, gets called up 6.5 years after playing pro hockey to get his first sniff, doesn't work out, then gets into a major car accident, almost dies, fights back from that. Here we are. He's played 14 games in the National Hockey League, and only 5 of them are here in Calgary. He got his first goal ever at age 28 after over 400 AHL games. Talk about a story that everybody, not just because he's Costco, but because everybody loves Costco. Let's just leave it at that. And the comeback story of the year, it really is.
I love the idea of the hot dog freeze, or just have a bunch of elderly ladies with samples on the concourse level. Bidsy, go ahead.
Those are the 2 best Costco type of things. Yeah, that'd be great. Yes, the comeback kid with him and the comeback kids. So what is going on with this? Because I was talking with some of our pals, our mutual friends, sports casters, I guess, sports reporters, Eric in Calgary, and they were saying at the start of the year, yeah, this is going to be a long one. This will be a tough one, but they'll be better for it next year. So everybody was already thinking this was going to be rough, and it's still early. But what has happened so far? What has made this happen?
You know what? It's funny. I asked Kyle Dubas. Pittsburgh was in town last night for that game, and I just said, and I asked Sullivan, their coach, too, same thing. From 3,000 feet or 10,000 feet, what's your impression of the Flames? How are they doing this? What are you under the impression that their magic spice is? And Dubas said buy-in. When I see these Flames, I just say buy-in. They have all bought in to what Ryan Huska is selling. It's a total team game. I think they're third in the league. What are you laughing at?
I don't know. I don't know. You're still talking about Costco.
Dubas says, it would have been funny if it had been, Dubas says it was the exact opposite of everything that we had in Toronto. So that's what I was laughing at. Sorry.
Yeah, it would have been funny because it's everything I ever dreamed of, but I could never get it. But he said buy-in. And so, like Ryan Husk has always said since he became head coach, like there's one thing that's not negotiable in any of my dressing rooms, and that's the standard of play based around a work ethic. And they want to be the hardest team in the NHL to play against. That was kind of their goal this year. Their goal, is to make the playoffs. Every team's goal is, but they always kind of talk about we want to be the hardest team in the league to play against, which means outworking everyone, but also out hitting everyone. Like in the no-hit league, they rank third in the NHL right now in hits per game, which I think means something. It means that, teams are going to come in here and have to pay a price. So, and then they're getting contributions from everyone. They got 11 different goal scorers. Their blue liners are chipping in more than every team in the league except for Colorado. And then the big thing, guys, goaltending. Like going into the season, the reason why myself and anybody else in Calgary who had to do a prediction on this season said that they won't make the playoffs is because the goaltending, it's too much to ask two young guys to carry the load on a team that's probably middle of the road. So far, they've been one of the best tanders in the National Hockey League. I think they're sixth in save percentage. Dustin Wolf's been out of this world. Vladar's been very good. And there you go, 5-0-1, second in the NHL, just like everyone predicted.
Yeah, I just pulled him up where Dustin Wolf is from, thinking maybe a Four Nations Cup, maybe a last. No, he's from California. He's from California. He's an American kid. Like, just Canada can't win with goaltending. On the heels of that, Eric, I read or heard somewhere that at the end of last season, like a lot of the Flame veterans, they went to Conroy and were like, hey, if we're tearing this down, then you got to move me. Like, I don't want to be a part of this. And then somehow he convinced them, some of those guys, to stick around. How did he do that?
So I don't know where you get, like, who said this to you, but they've made it very clear since last year when 6 of their core players in the franchise all left. Conroy made it very clear from day one. Even before last year started, he traded Tyler Toffoli. He said, if anybody here doesn't want to be here, I will trade you right now. Like, I don't want anybody who's not here. And he's been trumpeting that all through training camp this year and into the early parts of this season, saying, I think part of why we're having success is because we have 23 guys who all want to be here. There's nobody with one foot out the door, like Elias Lindholm last year, like Zadorov, like Hanifin, like I could go on and on. This year, everybody wants to be here. Now, don't get me wrong. If by Christmas they're out of the playoff race miserably, some guys may change their minds. But right now, especially since they've started so well, it bodes well that some of the guys like Rasmus Andersson, Nazem Kadri, they've said from day one, we want to be here, subject to how things go down the road. But right now, why would they not want to be here? Those two guys are two of the biggest leaders on the team right now. I think they've really taken pride in taking an ownership/leadership role and guiding this youngish, rebuildish kind of team as the two biggest veterans on the team.
Okay, so up the road in the world's biggest trailer park, or whatever you taught me last year.
Industrial Park.
Industrial
Park. Yeah.
Like, they blow that lead. And I'm never going to go the other way on the Oilers again because they proved me wrong last year. I got egg on my face. I look like an idiot. People keep receipts. They kept chirping me, yada, yada. But when I watch Edmonton play, and I know we're early in the season here, and I watch Edmonton play, and then I watch Las Vegas play, it's almost like two different leagues. The depth that Vegas has that people are forgetting about. Thomas Hertl. I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot he's there. Hanifin. Yeah. Like, and I look at the Stanley Cup odds right now, the futures. Like, the Golden Knights are plus 1,400. I'm hammering that. That's value. I don't know. I don't know about the Oilers. Like,
well,
floor's yours.
First of all, if you're betting on Vegas, that's a good tip for me to not bet on them. Second of all,
we're not going the samesies again this year.
No, we were both wrong with Dallas last year.
Yeah,
but Oh, yeah. Like, listen, Vegas is one of those teams who, hey, listen, it's run by McCrimmon, right? He's all about hard-nosed, big boy hockey. Get me as many farmers in here as I can so we can scare the hell out of anyone who comes into our little enclave here. And that's the way they play. They're a punishing, large hockey team. Edmonton is not a punishing team. Like, we saw last time Calgary was in Edmonton, Braden Pahal threw a hit on McDavid just after the whistle. And McDavid turned to the ref right away and pulled a Gretzky and was kind of like, what's going? Why don't I get a penalty? And that was Wayne's old thing. He was the whiner, right? I'm supposed to say that as a Calgarian. But McDavid was complaining, and nobody on the Oilers team did a thing about it. Like, you're talking about a sixth defenseman who took a tiny bit of a liberty on the greatest player of our era, and nobody said anything to Paul or did anything to him the rest of the game. To me, I'm still old school. You still need to send messages. You still need to protect your most important assets at every turn. So you asked me, you're kind of asking the difference between like a contender like Vegas and a team right now that's trying to find its way like Edmonton. Edmonton will find its way, but they need to start being a little tougher about it first, I think.
Yeah, they probably got a little spoiled, or maybe maybe it's just the Stanley Cup run hangover or making it to the Stanley Cup. Maybe it's that, but a little more refocused probably. I got to ask you about the Utah Hockey Club. You got a trip coming up there, the Flames, going there at the end of the month. What do you know about besides what we've seen on TV about how it's being received?
Well, what I don't know right now is, like, to get a drink in Salt Lake City, I covered the Olympics there whenever the hell that was. I'm so old. It was a long time ago.
2002.
And you needed, there you go. Yeah, the goal, it wasn't the golden goal, but that was Canada's first Olympic gold.
Yeah, the weird hat.
I was there. Jesus.
Katrina LeMay Doan went off, too.
I covered that. There you go. So thanks for old guys need to be reminded of things. But
you're drinking straight vodka. You're drinking straight vodka now, so that's probably why.
Yeah,
it really did make a difference. I found. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
To get a drink in Utah, then you needed to have a membership in any bar. You had to buy like for $15
at a speakeasy.
Yeah, kind of. You had to have a secret password. I don't know but you pay this membership fee, and they say it's good for life. So I can't wait to go next week. I'm going to go from Vegas. We're in Vegas 2 nights before and go straight to Utah. So, like, culture shock to the nth degree in America. And I got to go and try and I got to remember all the bars that I went to. There were quite a few. And I got to make sure that they honor my membership so that I can get a bloody drink in Utah. You asked about the team. Oh, yeah.
I think it's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Two things I'll say quickly about the team. One is, doesn't even bug me anymore that they don't have a name. I think it's great marketing. It really is, because they'll sell a whole bunch of jerseys next year when they finally come up with a name. And by the way, don't tell anyone. It's going to be the Yetis.
Yeah.
Worst kept secret in all of sport. There's no other option. Second of all, Dylan Guenther's one of my favorite young prospects in the National Hockey League. I'm glad to see him get off to such a great start. This team, to me, is right on the verge of busting out and being not just a good team that can contend for the playoffs for the next little while, but I think a contender, not this year, but like they're right on the doorstep of adding some pieces that are going to put them over the top to be a contender for the next 5-7 years. Like, that's how much I think of this basic team right now.
And Ryan Smith, the owner, he's backwards hat guy. You know he's going to shell out some money. He wants a winner there. You can just tell. Seems like a cool dude. So do you still have the card? Do you still have this membership card of some sort?
Oh, my God. I'm a hoarder. So somewhere I have those cards, but obviously I'm not going to find them. So I think 2002, there weren't computers, right? So I got to go to the front desk, some doorman, and tell him, look, I've got a membership. Can you look me up? And he's going to be like, look you up? I'm looking at you right now, and I don't remember you, so you can't come in. I got no proof. I got no receipts. No, I'm not getting anywhere.
You'll find it. It'll be like with your Blockbuster card.
Yeah,
it will be.
That I have. I might even have that in my. You know what? Okay, keep talking. No, like right here in my desk.
He's looking for his block. If you're watching the stream, he is actually looking for his Blockbuster card as we speak. What was the other one? TVS was a big one in Saskatoon anyways, Bidsy. And then Family Video. Family Video was a franchise, wasn't it?
Family Video was a big one. Yeah. I think that was in Canorama in Saskatoon. You're going to find it right beside that Costco card that you lost.
Look at
Blockbuster.
He found his Blockbuster membership card on live stream.
Card issued 12/27/1996. That's amazing.
He's older than Curtis.
That card is older than our producers.
Our producers,
That's history right there.
What else you got to do?
You got to move it over. Move it over to your left. There
we go.
Rogers Video. Your VIP
17.
gold card.
Gold, boys. Gold.
If you're not watching the stream, you're totally missing out here. That Utah card's got to be around there somewhere. If not, just use the Blockbuster card. Be like, no, you guys said this would be good. You said this would be.
Once you flash gold.
One. Yeah, the VIP gold one. That'll get you there something. There's still points on there of some sort. You can redeem them.
Yeah.
That is such a great point. Maybe for vodka.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe, guys, that's hilarious that I found that I even thought to think in my drawer. Can you put
it up? Can you put it up now behind you so every time you get interviewed, it's like up in the background and I can say, I got him to put that up there. Yeah, there it is. Legit. Okay, let's. You're gonna have to move it somewhere.
There we go.
That's
Can you see it behind me?
No, we can't. But you know where you should put it? Right underneath the Hartford Whalers or underneath that Stanley Cup thing for next time, for next Tuesday when we do this. Okay, you can do it now. There we go.
I'm going to replace my Connor Bedard rookie card with my Blockbuster card. It means more to me. More memories.
So when are you doing this? When are you in Utah?
Next week. Actually, when I talk to you guys, they play Wednesday in Utah. I'll be talking to you from Utah.
From the speakeasy.
From Stan's Tavern. I love it.
I'll find some speakeasy of some sort, and I'll let you know how the Blockbuster card goes and the vodka. Yeah, absolutely.
Take your earbuds. We'll do the hit live from wherever you are.
Okay. I love it. Just great radio. Just incredible radio.
It is.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It is.
It's like a rock show. I feel like we're gonna go play Trooper now or something. It's like Slapstick and Moondog. Slapstick and Moondog in the morning. We have Green Day coming up. Still a chance to win those tickets to the county fair. Here's Trooper. Okay, Francis. Pleasure. Talk to you next week.
We didn't even talk hockey.
No.
What the hell?
Not really.
That's the beauty
maybe
of it.
next week. Next week, baby.
See ya.
Vodka and hockey. He was on a roll today.
NHL insider Eric Francis. It's brought to you by Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southie, Saskatchewan. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed. They got like $18,000 off Ram 1500s right now. I can't wait to talk to him from Utah. I've been to Utah. That's a weird place, but it's awesome.
It's a beautiful city, man.
He found his Blockbuster card, craving popcorn. It's the All New SportsCage on 620 CKRM. You have about 29 minutes left to get in on the Saskatchewan Rough Rider Foundation early bird prize for this week. If you're going to buy a 50-50 for the game anyway, riders5050.ca. The early bird prize this week is a Dominican Republic vacation. Includes flights. You don't have to take a boat. Accommodations for two at an all-inclusive resort, shuttle transfers, or you can just take $5,400 cash, but only till 5 o'clock, and it's 4:31, so 29 minutes to get in on that. First two-part guest ever, Ryland Leichert is back joining us here. Regina Thunder running back. We had some internet problems. That's all right. We got it back. Part 2 of a two-parter. That's what it is. Okay, let's start it with Bidsy. You asked that question again about the Hilltop turf, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, Ryland, you mentioned that it was a really special victory for you. Obviously, it was winning the PFC. Was it even more special? Why was it more special winning it on the turf, literally on the turf of the Hilltops at SMF Field in Saskatoon?
A couple reasons. First off, we lost last year, the same game at that field, so it was kind of a shot at redemption. And second off, instead of playing at Mosaic in the city here, the fans got to stay up in the stands. Our family could come onto the field and the non-dressing players. So we got to celebrate with our families and the whole team. So it was kind of like a redemption moment for our organization that was really special.
Yeah. And beating the Toppers. What do you know? Okay, so how does this week go preparing for Okanagan, a team that you don't play, obviously, in the regular season? I'm sure you're watching tape. Like, how does the week go? How do you guys prepare?
Well, we wanted to celebrate our win against the Hilltops and have a short memory. Our job's not done. Our long-term goal is to win a national championship. So the next day, our coaches put the film out. And you said it, like, film's the biggest thing when you haven't played a team. In order to understand them, it's, not only just watching their players, but how do they react to certain situations? What is their culture like? So film is the biggest point. And I know that our coaches are going to put in a surgical game plan to help pick them apart, and we just got to execute.
Ryland, I don't know if your coaches are going to do this. They probably will. It's a really good one that the coaches used to do when I played on the Hilltops too, and we made a couple of runs in the playoffs and played teams that we never saw before. The coaches would build them up as this monster. They would say, okay, and now, number 54, this guy could be in the NFL right now. He is huge. If you don't have it together, he is going to. So, it just had us all so wound up that we just thought, oh, my God, if we aren't on our best game. So it actually worked as a great motivational tool, not ever seeing these guys.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to be at your best, right? And with the Thunder, we definitely put a focus on ourselves. Like, what is the energy that we need to bring as a team that's going to allow us to play our best? It doesn't matter who we're facing. Like, what is it that we have to focus on that's going to allow us to put our best performance on the field? So we're really focused this week on our energy, our mentality. And at the end of the day, you're right. Like, they have a great running back. They have great defensive players that could go play far in the league. So it's a big moment to go play someone who you've never played before and test yourself. It's a huge challenge.
Do you wish that it was maybe just going to be a little bit colder, maybe some wind, that kind of prairie weather for these guys?
Oh, you almost do a little bit. I love playing in the snow bowls. I think the team does too. It's sort of a Sask thing. Like, you usually get one a year, so you look forward to it. And one of the favorite quotes that I have that I've heard is, you never remember how cold it was. You just remember playing through it with the boys and celebrating the win after. And that's always what stuck out to me with the Snow Bowl. It's like, you just remember the feeling of celebrating with the teammates, not how cold it was, even though at the time it was freezing. So it'd be cool, but we're definitely excited to have the warm weather. I think our receivers and quarterbacks specifically will be a little happier that it's not -40. So
the pretty boys, the pretty boys will be happy.
These Okanagan guys, right? They're coming in all tanned up, probably spray tanning bad, tanning in the sun from the Okanagan. Yeah. Okay, so if you guys win this national championship, then the job's not done. But a national championship, you're closer to probably getting that sign when they drive into Porcupine Plain, right? Home of national champ Ryland Leichert.
I'm getting there. I hope. I mean, maybe I have a few more to go, a few more leagues to take care of, but we're making progress, right?
This is great. Thanks so much for hopping back on. Great interview. Always love chatting. I can't wait to watch the game live and in person on Sunday. Go get it, right? Do your thing.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on twice.
Right on.
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, a two-parter.
Yeah, Porcupine Plains.
Twofer.
Porcupine Plains, Ryland Leichert. Like I said, him and Sadiq in the backfield, right? Like, Ryland had 118 yards. Sadiq had 178. They just went right at him, just boom, boom, boom at the Hilltops. Okanagan, I'm sure they're not going to come in as he's slouching. Then they got that one, I forget his name. Colson had it. He was Boise State. He's got some college experience, so he'll be a big running back. It's gonna be an awesome football game. Leibel Field in Regina, 1 p.m. on Sunday. Weather looks good. Canteen will be buzzing.
The canteen will be humming. But talk about football all weekend in Regina, right? Like, it starts off on Friday night at Leibel Field. It's going to be the U of R Rams hosting the U of A Golden Bears with a chance to win and get in. That kicks things off for football weekend in Regina. The big U Sports game on Friday. Saturday, of course, the huge game at Mosaic Stadium. The Riders finishing off the regular season versus the Stamps. And then, this big game.
If you want to do a real trifecta, if you're feeling really crazy out there, what I would do is I'd go to this Watrous Southie Highway 22 Storm provincial battle in Southie, 1 p.m. Saturday, float back into the city, go to the Rider game, sleep it off, go to the Thunder game Sunday.
Yeah, there you go. You're all set. Yeah,
That's
a
right.
lot of canteens. You're going to be visiting a lot of different canteens in your time.
I should have a tour company, football tours, like Dash Tours back in the day. Dave Ash, what a beauty. Rest in peace. He was such a good dude. He put together like awesome sport trips. Yeah, he was just a good guy. When we come back, we're going to talk Riders. We're going to talk Riders with Rider great and high school football coach Scott Schultz. It's the All New SportsCage with Bidsy and Shank, Colson and Curtis on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Back out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Get yourself a Western Pizza wheel tonight. Why wouldn't a guy or girl? Always perfect. We teed this up earlier. Former Rider great Scott Schultz is joining us again. Okay, Schultz, I'm going to do this. We're going to do this Where Are They Now, which is usually on Wednesdays. It's for Floor Coverings International. You need new floors, get the Stars of Flooring, Floor Coverings International, locally owned mobile flooring showrooms, thousands of choices, fclfloors.com. The reason we're doing Where Are They Now with you is because you are currently getting ready for a massive playoff game. The Greenall High School football team and Moose Jaw Central on Saturday. First year coaching this Greenall team?
First year coaching a high school team. I've been on the Bantam and Pee Wee teams previously. And yeah, we've got a great group of guys. We've got 41 guys on our roster, and we've managed to go 7-0. That's including one playoff win already. 2:30
Saturday at Leibel Field. What's the team made up of? If you give us a quick elevator pitch on the team.
We are a team of linebackers. We're all athletes. We're not the biggest. Every team is bigger than us, but I think we just showed that we've got great athleticism, great hustle, great attitudes. And we had a great season. I think we averaged about 50 points a game and giving up about 12 and a half points. And we had a rough go in our playoff game. We won 24-19. We were down 116 at half, but we held them out 3 points, and 23 points we scored in the second half to come back, win 24-19.
Let's give a shout out to the captains. Who are the guys that makes that team tick? The seniors and the captains on that team.
Right now it's Rogan Pipko. We've got Andrew Gronick. We've got Jake Ram, Chase Key. All guys, they're great. They're seniors. They've been waiting for this their whole lives. We're going to challenge for this provincial championship.
Right on there. So that now people know. If you're wondering what Schultz is doing, he's coaching little football. Greenall, that's the Where Are They Now feature for Floor Coverings International. See, perfect segue. Now let's get into the Riders. It's a weird one, right? It's a weird one on Saturday. Scoreboard watching the game before, kind of not knowing, what we got to do in the game. As a former player, how would you be tackling this kind of the mental gymnastics of it all?
You know what? The same old response for me. Focus on what's in front of you. Control what you can control. Get in and out like a fiddler's elbow, and hopefully you're healthy. And we live to fight another day. When you get in to start playing the games and this and that and the other about who's going to play, and you're watching the scoreboard, what could happen. It takes something away from the most important thing, and that's what's going on the field.
So how do you approach that in the locker room? Like, are you on the phone? Is it on the TV? Are you just ignoring it? You're waiting for somebody else to maybe tell you? I mean,
be honest.
It has to be
honest. Be honest, Schultz.
Be honest. I would say, I'm always going to float around and see what's doing, but for the most part, I can remember times like that in my own career where Ivan in the training room would have it on the TV. And, in the normal big locker room, it's not a big deal. And then if it happens, it kind of explodes, around the TV, and then slowly like a virus makes its way out and people start talking.
What do you expect? And I don't even know if you've been on the other end of it where you would be what the Stampeders are now coming in here. I got to think like there's going to be a lot of business decisions made by guys on that team that, hey, listen, it's one more game. I want to get out of this unscathed. What's your take on that?
Well, it's both, right? Like, there's going to be guys, like, that's what you say, a guy's going to make a big hit, but then doesn't. Well, I made a business decision there. I didn't want to get ran over. But there's also going to be the guys that feel, man, this is another opportunity for me to put tape on. I'm likely not going to be here next year. I better go out there, get a couple sacks, better press the pocket. So it shows that even on a down team, I've got heart and I'm showing my skills.
That's the other thing I was going to say is that there's guys playing for jobs. They're professionals, right? There's guys playing for jobs. And whether they're jobs with the Stampeders or jobs elsewhere in the CFL, this is their last shot. Like, they got it. This has to be a good game. They don't want to go into the off season on a stinker.
Yep. Well, and also, not to tie it to my high school stuff, but it's that feeling of, like, your grade 12s, your seniors. Some of you guys are never going to play again. There's some guys in those locker rooms that they might be at the end of their football rope, or it's coming very closely, right? And so it's that whole idea of make the most of your opportunities, get out there and make something happen.
You guys are playing for jobs, right? There's always, you never know who's looking too, like Lakeview Insurance with Schultz, right? You guys could be looking for some passionate players, maybe post career. There's a
We're looking for all those guys to look after your farm and commercial needs.
Like this Rider team, really, it's a weird time for a bye. That bye week to come a week. Did you ever have anything like that, or how would you handle it?
Again, like, I'm simple. Like, I wasn't the most talented guy. I had to make my bones by hard work and film study and trying to find little angles, trying to find little ways to motivate myself. So when there was a bye week, I was in there watching film. I was in there working out, using the ice tub, using the hot tub, doing all the little things so that when I did get an opportunity, I could go out there. Because that's one thing I held even to the bitter end was there's always someone nipping at your heels, and you're not promised tomorrow in pro sports.
Schultz, what's the vibe you get from this team? I don't know whether I'm talking myself into this, but I feel really good about just where they are going into the playoffs. They had that great start, and then they had that lull, which included a tie, and then they started to come back, and then you had guys coming back to the lineup from injury. I feel, maybe it's me talking myself into it, like I said, or maybe I'm just being over optimistic, but I feel like things are going well for them right now, and maybe they're on this good path.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? It's I think the attention to detail that the GM and the head coach have resolved themselves to. Yeah, there was a big slide there, and I think, you go back and you start looking at those things. Why are we dressing one way at the beginning of the year opposed to how things get, the dress code gets a little lax throughout the year. Did I do, my extra laps? Did I do my extra sprints? Did I do extra film work? I think they started focusing on those little things that they can control, because if you don't do those things, you get nothing. If you do those things, you can start building something. And I think that we're seeing the results of that. We're seeing the results of the guys pulling it together and coming together at the right time in the CFL season.
What do you have to say about most outstanding player nomination, Roland Milligan Jr.? League leading, 8 interceptions, 6 all-time Riders. He's involved in 111 defensive plays this year. What's your take on him, Schultz?
I think he's a special player. I think, it's tough for defensive players, always has been in any league, to win the MOP. If anyone could do it, it should be this guy. I'm a Rider homer. If he's the guy that's up for it, then that's who I'm going with. And it doesn't hurt that he's a defensive guy playing on my heartstrings. I don't think we'll ever see a 300-pound lineman up for that position. Maybe we'll see. I'll try to grease the wheels there, but I think the guy is just he's amazing. He's a guy that he excites the other players by his play, and he inspires. You can see him inspire players on the field with what he does.
What do you think happens in Montreal? Winnipeg going in, obviously needing a victory. Montreal stinks up the joint in BC. Are they going to play guys? How do you think that's going to go down?
Yeah, it's tough. If I was Montreal, if I was the guy making the decisions, I would be playing hard this game. save, maybe your quarterback position and some of the other key guys, but you got to put them in for at least a solid quarter and get some work done, because sneaking it up in BC, you don't want to ride 2 of those into a bye week in the playoffs and then it's somehow miraculously think you're going to show up for the final game.
Yeah, I was going to add to that. I mean, that's a long time, right, to be off. And you start adding in all those weeks. And as you say, if it's a stinker, well, then it's also this dark cloud of, we played horrible the last time we were out, So there's a lot of things that go into it, as you said, Schultz. But, yeah, the time off would be substantial.
Yeah. Well, and you think about also, too, just the mentality of in football, it's all flash these days, and you're only as good as your last game, and it gives motivation to teams. Like, look what they did. If we're on our game, we can exploit them like that. And it just, all you need is a nugget as an opponent to get something in your craw or in your brain, and these high achievers most times go and achieve it, right? And we see it all the time in sports. So yeah, it's very dangerous. It's a lot of time to deal with. So I think you have to take that aggressively instead of, easing into it and trying to rest up, as they say.
In closing, I want to get your take on this. Greenall, your wagon you have there. I'm sure there's a few kids that are going to end up playing with the Regina Thunder. How about the Thunder knocking off the Hilltops into the national semifinal Sunday, 1 o'clock, Libel Field against Okanagan? Beautiful thing, isn't it?
Our offensive coordinator, Steve Day's son, plays for the Hilltops. He's a receiver, and he's got 1 year left. And again, we talked about it. I'm like, Steve, I don't know, man. It's tough to beat a team 3 times. Oh, no, we're going to get them. And, of course, you saw what happened. So really exciting. Definitely have some players that want to go the junior route. We've got some guys. And to see guys at that level, you got two teams in the province that are just unbelievable. It's kind of a 2-team league when you look at it. They go out and smash everybody else. But, for them to get the bragging rights and for all the great work that the guys like Murad El-Khatib and his team and all that they've built behind the scenes, it's well-deserved.
We got some spots for the Greenall linebackers in Saskatoon with the blue and gold as well, too. So, yeah, I'm sure Tom Sargent wouldn't mind if you.
We'll edit that part out. Okay. If anyone likes listening to Schultz, you can always call Lakeview Insurance and get your needs handled there. Okay, good luck in the big game for against Moose Jaw Central, and let's maybe do this again next week.
I can't wait. Looking forward to it, guys.
See you later.
Thanks,
Schultz. There's Ryder great. Scott Schultz also coaching Balgony or Greenall. That's your old alma mater. Hey, Coulson.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever suit up?
1 year I played left bench.
Left bench.
Yeah.
Left
right
bench.
on.
Need that guy.
The glue guy.
The raw guy.
Glue guy in the locker room. So, there we go. Schultz, always a pleasure to have on. It is the All New SportsCage. Time for a quick break. Here, if you're watching the stream, thank you very much. SportsCage.com. And as always, we are on the home of football in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. We are sorry that he can't be here in person this week, but he is joining us on the telephone. We're doing our NASCAR report for Croft Electric. Sharky is joining us on the How was hunting?
Goose hunting was fantastic. I want to give a shout out to the boys at Last Month Lodge, LML Outfitters at Strasbourg, Riley and Bryce. They did a beautiful job setting up decoys, getting us some great birds, and we had a ton of fun.
Oh, nice. No free plugs, but we'll let it slide. Okay, what happened in Las Vegas? I think I'm absolutely screwed in that pool. Am I not?
No, you're doing well. You're doing very well in the pool. You got nothing to be ashamed of. You're doing all right. Las Vegas, you've got the top 8 in the third round here. So Las Vegas, it was a crazy week. When the last race was over to end the round of 12, Joey Logano was out. He didn't make the cut. Then Bowman gets disqualified for being too light. Logano gets in, and he wins the first race in the field of 8 to guarantee himself a spot in the Final Four in Vegas, or in Phoenix. So Logano had an amazing 7 days to go from out of the playoffs to not only in the playoffs, but guarantee a spot in the final. So Joey for sure will be racing to be the champion in Phoenix in 3 weeks. I love the photo you used today, boys. Thanks very much. He's sitting in the goose blind, the hearing aids on. Anyway, thank you. So next week, we're in Miami. We're at the Miami Motor Speedway. This is race 2 of 3 for the round of 8. Your guy, Reddick, is in trouble. He's deep in the points. He's about 45 points off the pace, as is Chase Elliott. Last year's champion, Ryan Blaney, and Denny Hamlin is also below the cut line right now. Bit of a surprise with all 4 of those, but it's tough to get to the final 4. So there's a chance for somebody to advance next week or to move up in the points, and with one final race in the final 4 that goes in Martinsville in 2 weeks.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Crofty.
Croft Electric. Thanks, Sharky. You're a beauty. Yeah, so they go the Homestead Miami Speedway in Homestead, Florida this weekend, and then Martinsville Speedway in Martinsville, Virginia. Don't get crazy. Not Martinsville outside Saskatoon. And then the final is in Phoenix, November 10th. Croft Electric is the place you can get your lights, permanent lights, Christmas lights. Yeah. Yep. Was Crofty out there hunting with you?
No, he wasn't part of the crew. There were some guys from BC that invited me along, and just had a fantastic time.
Right on. Okay, talk to you next week, Sharky.
Cheers, boys.
That is the NASCAR report with our friend Sharky for Croft Electric. Yeah, Bidsy, you got those permanent lights that all the fancy people have in the neighborhoods that they kind of keep up all year round, and they can go different colors and go just a nice white, right?
Yeah,
and then
just
Christmas.
nice. I like the white.
Yeah, and then Christmas, you can go full Christmas. With Halloween next week, you can go Halloween. Yeah, so Croft Electric can do all that for you. I would love them on my house. It's Halloween next week, and we're doing a show. Like, do we dress up? Are you guys dressing up?
Yeah, you know what? I think you gotta now that we're streaming. I think you gotta. Otherwise, you look like you're like the people that are poor sports, right? Or you're the ones that have your lights turned off when the kids come by. Yeah. I think you gotta dress up.
Yeah, I might go as Napoleon Dynamite. That'd be pretty good. Yeah.
I'm gonna come as Sharky in that goose hunting blind there. That's what I'm gonna come as there.
There's
the camouflage on.
Yeah, like all the ones I'm thinking of the top of my head, I don't think are radio streaming worthy. I'm gonna have to think. I'm gonna have to get creative.
And have to get
real creative. Yeah, everything waist up. Yeah.
Did you see Marc-Andre Fleury's costume the other day? He must have went to something earlier, a costume party early. But did you see Marc-Andre Fleury's costume? Oh, he went as McLovin from Superbad. Yeah. And man, he looked exactly like him. Like he had his hair, he had the bowl cut, and the glasses looked exactly like him.
Colton's freaking out. We got to take a break here. Up against news. Maybe they'll drop the kicker story. It's the All New SportsCage on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. One more hour to get through this. It's Derek Bidwell, Colson Schultz, Curtis Gammon, and Barney Shynkaruk here on the All New SportsCage. We are playing Pick the Score. So I see a lot of people lined up here, cruising home. 936-6262, Capital Ford Lincoln text line. What is the score between the Riders and Stamps Saturday? We need your name, number, where you're from. And I think we got more than one pair. Like, your odds are really good to get in. If you want to go to the game, going to be a nice day for football and a game that could mean so much. Let's bring him in from TSN right now. Farhan Lalji joining us from out in the West Coast. Farhan, it could mean so much. It could mean absolutely nothing. It's one of those old scoreboard watching games, which we don't get that often in the CFL.
Yeah, and we've kind of known in the last few weeks where most of the playoff spots were going to land. So, well, there's no playoff spots. Certainly home field, it's a big deal. And if you're Saskatchewan and if you're Corey Macy, like, what a statement you'd be making by hosting the Western Final in your first year as a head coach. So could mean a ton, and I think that Saskatchewan needs this, right? Like, it feels like the fan base, tell me if I'm wrong, right? Other than the Winnipeg game, the game after Labor Day, it just feels like there hasn't been a complete level of buy-in yet, especially when you look at the crowds that Saskatchewan has drawn this year. And look, we always grade the Riders on a curve. They draw well. but they don't necessarily fill it other than that one game. A Western Division final would be full, and it'd be such a great thing for the franchise.
Yeah, no, you are correct. I think a final or a semifinal will be packed. It's a little fickle. It's a little fickle in Saskatchewan nowadays. Again, harvest always has a lot to do with that. But no, I would agree with you as well, Farhan. Hey, what? So
I wouldn't be offending the entire fan base if I said that Winnipeg has passed Saskatchewan as the premier fan base in the league now. Is that offensive?
Self-awareness.
Do people accept that?
We got to have self-awareness. Right. We have to be able to look in that mirror and say, yeah, although it's weird and their city's weird and all their streets run weird ways, Winnipeg has surpassed. So there we go. Who's going to be the starting quarterback?
But I'd much rather spend time in Regina.
Yeah,
I'd much rather spend time in Regina than Winnipeg. Just for the record.
Way to sandwich that. Yeah. Way to sandwich that. You'll be a good boss someday. There
you go.
Who's starting on the November 2nd for the BC Lions?
Vernon Adams, without question, right? I mean, when you saw what he did in the Montreal game, but more importantly, how the team responded to him, right? And that's what this was about. Rick Campbell had run out of levers to play with this team. It became abundantly clear that this is what the team wanted. This is what the offense wanted. Not a slight to Nathan Rourke, but just a feeling that Vernon Adams had been mistreated in all of this, right? And so people talk about a divided room. It wasn't divided. It was just, this is kind of where they were. And again, like talking to these guys, even off camera, they like Nathan and they know he can play and they don't think this all falls on him. But there is a feeling that Vernon got treated poorly. And even Vernon kind of admitted that he expected to be treated the way Nathan Rourke was treated in 2022 when Nathan came back off injury. I mean, it was immediately handed back to him. And Vernon thought, if it's not going to be immediately handed back, at least give me an opportunity to compete for it. Neither of those things happened. So a lot of people had a spring in their step. And is it enough for this team to go on another 3-game run here? We'll see, but they look pretty good against Montreal.
Speaking of Montreal and Winnipeg, that game on Saturday, the first game on Saturday, a lot of people are asking, what will Montreal do? How will they decide, who's going to play, how much they're going to play with them having a bye after that all the way to the Eastern Final? Your thoughts on what you think Montreal will do or maybe should do?
Well, I think they're going to play everybody. I really do. I think that everybody that's healthy is going to play. Now, if there was that player that if it was a playoff game, we'd play him, that player probably doesn't play, right? But I do know that Cody Fajardo is starting that game. And, will he be on a pitch count? I doubt it, right? But, look, I don't want to say this. I want to say this respectfully. I think Montreal also knows they got a really, really good quarterback behind Cody Fajardo in Davis Alexander. So they can take a risk that nobody else can take, that most other teams couldn't take, right? Winnipeg can't take that risk. Saskatchewan can't take that risk. The drop-off between Cody Fajardo and Davis Alexander is less than it is in any of the other teams that are playing in the playoffs, so they could potentially take it. But I don't think that Jason Moss is happy with how the last game went, and I think there is some truth to going into the playoffs with the level of momentum, and losing 27-3 doesn't afford you that momentum.
I'll always remember, when was it, July? When we had Farhan on, and he says, probably a good chance you're going to see Davis Alexander in that game. And everyone was like, whatever. And then, boom, we saw him in there. And everyone's like, well, Farhan. The guy's a veteran. He knows what he's talking about, right? You know, CFL aside here, let's go to the NFL a little bit. Yeah. Hopkins to the Chiefs. Sounds like it's done.
I love it.
Do you?
I love it. It's done. Oh, yeah. I do. Look, and I will always be grateful to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes for taking us away from Bill Belichick. So when it comes to Super Bowl storylines, so I understand there's a lot of people out there that have Chiefs fatigue. I'm not one of them because Andy Reid is a great person to deal with. I love dealing with Andy Reid. So he's entertaining. Doesn't take himself seriously. He can be self-deprecating, and his offense is incredibly entertaining to watch, and not just because Mahomes is the quarterback, but just in terms of play design and what they do. They have fun with the game. So I don't get tired of that. So the fact that they can add Hopkins, and they've done this before, whether they've got a small bump from a Kadarius Toney or whoever it may be, they're not afraid to make that decision. When you look at this deal, and you saw a second-round pick is what everybody else was going for. Well, they managed to get a fifth-round pick that could escalate to a fourth. if they knock it out of the park with this trade, and they're going to be paying half the salary with the Titans, right? So, and it's only a 1-year deal. So there's no wrong here, right? To be able to be a complimentary piece when you lose Rashee Rice, you got to go here if you can.
It's a heck of a deal. Although I do have Chiefs fatigue, I do applaud what they did. What does he have left? Like Hopkins?
Well, it's a great question. You know, I don't know, and I say that because look, he's only 32. His numbers this year are kind of average, but when you look at what that team is offensively across the board, it's average, right? I mean, they've kind of gone back and forth a little bit at quarterback. You know, I like Will Levis. I think he's going to be a good player in this league. But, you know, I do know that there's inconsistency there. And so they've kind of had to make some short-term decisions to kind of get through. But he hasn't been necessarily put in a position to have a lot of success. Whereas I think you go to Kansas City and you play in that offense, I think they're going to get the best out of him, right? And, you know, will they get Hollywood Brown back at some point? I don't know. They'll probably get Juju Smith-Schuster back in the next couple of weeks, right? So, you know, that offense has still got some room to grow. Pacheco will come back sooner than later. So they're still going to ascend, and I think Hopkins is going to be a big part of that.
Farhan, our viewers, of course, can't, or our listeners, rather, can't see that you're in your car right now, but you said you're on your way back from Canucks practice, a hard-working man. What can you give us the latest from the Canucks?
Well, you know, some interesting moments in Canuck practice because late in the practice, at the end of a drill, JT Miller and Elias Pettersson got into a bit of a stick exchange, and Miller had some words for Pettersson. Now, look, you can chalk that up to practice and battle and, you know, whatever it may be, coming back off a long road trip. But that was interesting, right? That was a little different. But with Pettersson, who's had assists in his last 2 games, guys had a 5-on-5 goal for this team in 37 games. You got to go back to March 5th, Jeez. 2 days after he signed his big contract, for the last time he's done that. And it's been 30 games since he had a multi-point game. So I was the only person that was there that stuck around for Pettersson today and had a chance to talk to him. And he's like, yeah, you could click on my numbers and think that I stink. And so you could tell that he's still wearing this a little bit. He needs to score. He needs to get on a bit of a run. But the fact that this team has scored 20 goals and is 3-1-2 in 6 games, and he's had none of those goals, and Jake DeBrusk's had none of those goals, you know, this team still has a level to reach offensively. You know, they still can ascend a little bit. So he's looked good in the last 2 games. And I asked Rick Tocchet about it, and Tocchet talked about, look, this guy's got to move his feet more, and he's playing on a line with Connor Garland and Nils Höglander, and Garland is like the Energizer Bunny, right? Both of these other guys are. So Tocchet wanted to make it clear that it's Connor Garland driving this line and not Pettersson. So that was the interesting takeaway for me. But look, they feel good winning these last 3 games after the sky was falling 3 games ago.
I watched him quite a few times when he was with Arizona, Garland, and talk about a fly under the radar, doesn't get the respect guy. I think that is soon going to change. You know, he's got 6 points. He's got 3-3 in 6 games. Kind of stirring that drink there in Vancouver, right, for a 5th rounder.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and when you get, you know, you look at Connor Garland a year ago at the start of the year, he'd been given permission, his agent had been given permission to seek a trade. You know, he was widely viewed as an inefficient contract. Well, that changed in a hurry last year. And then he wound up playing with Dakota Joshua and Teddy Bluger for what was at one point the best 3rd line in the league, right? And people thought that he probably should have been, played as a top 6. Well, Joshua's going to come back in about a week or so. So we'll see how they reconfigure their lineup at that point. But Connor Garland, in the last season and change here, has completely flipped the script on his value to this organization.
Are you surprised with what we're seeing? And I know it's early in the season, and I'm never going to bet against him again. I'm not going to bet on him either. What's going on in Edmonton?
I'm not surprised. You know, like you would have thought they would have learned last year, but at the same time, going through what you did in the first, 2 months of the season last year and still winding up in Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final really puts you in a position where you don't have that kind of urgency, right? And like I'll never forget in 2011, I've used the story before, but Henrik Sedin, before Game 7, said to a reporter, hey, when we're playing, essentially, when we're playing Columbus in January next year, don't call it a big game, right? And so, these guys know when they get to that end, of the rainbow, and they come that close that it's just so hard to create that level of intensity. So they're going back and forth, Draisaitl and McDavid playing on a line or not. What are we going to do with Darnell Nurse, who was a disaster for so much of last season? But, in the end, he was a top 4 defenseman on a Stanley Cup finalist team. Where are they at with Skinner in goal? Like, all those questions are going to come up, but they're going to come up with a smaller level of urgency because everybody kind of chuckles knowing what they've been through last year and knowing that there's plenty of time for this team to recover because they're just that good.
Keeping it in Alberta, talk about the Calgary Flames, Farhan. Everybody thought this was going to be a year that was going to be, oh, man, it's going to be a tough one. But here they are, undefeated. Shout out to Jason LaBarbera, friend of the show, friend of SportsCage, working with the goaltenders out there. Just your thoughts on what Calgary has done. Once again, pumping the brakes. It's early.
It's good. It's fun, right? And, they goaltending change, and they're playing with 2 now that, and Markstrom's gone. And, this is a team that set its roster up, not necessarily to fail, but, we knew there was going to be a level of youth there. But they still didn't want to go necessarily full tear-down rebuild, right? Because you've still got Huberdeau's contract. You've still got players like Nazem Kadri and others. So I like what they're doing. It's great, right? They're getting buy-in from Huska is getting buy-in, and it's good. And teams need to go through this, right? Like, Vancouver went through it a couple of years earlier where they had a bit of a run early on in the season, right? And they wound up playing where they could kind of raise the expectation, even if it was a short period of time. So I still don't think this roster is deep enough to get into the playoffs, but for them to just be able to have some more, I don't want to say meaningful games, we're still in October, but for them to still be in it now and to still, you go on these kinds of starts, right? And you come out of the gate like this, it buys you time until November, December, right? And it at least keeps the games fun.
We have some people that when you're on, they love that we talk college football. What are you making of things right now? Like every week, it's just an absolute head scratcher. I love it. We've never had this in college football before.
Yeah, and the playoff does this, right? Because and I'm not a playoff guy because it diminishes big games in the regular season, in my opinion, right? Like Ohio State lost nothing by losing to Oregon. The first Georgia-Alabama game really didn't have a lot of stakes. Everybody was into it, but didn't have a lot of stakes. Now, all of a sudden, Bama's lost again. I know, right? Like, Bama has lost again, and they can't lose again. Like, they cannot lose again, right? Otherwise, will the SEC get a 3-loss team going in? Potentially, but the margins are getting finer, right? So it's been a wild season, and a lot of games have managed to be relevant, even if the stakes aren't what they were.
If you were going to put a wager on, let's say you're me, right now with how it's falling, who do you go with? Like, who you? Because I don't know. I don't know who I'm really confident in.
Georgia's going to win the national title. I think they're the best team, and if I had money to bet, I'd bet it on them. Despite their loss, I still like Ohio State. Like a lot of improbable bounces late in that game went Oregon's way, and it was in Autzen. You play that game on a neutral site, I'm still picking Ohio State. Their high-end talent is better. I think they're better defensively, and I think the second time around I pick Ohio State. But for me, Georgia's my top team.
And then I want to circle back. This is really hacky, but I didn't get a chance to ask it. Go back to the NFL. With Hopkins now going to the Chiefs, what does this mean for Cooper Kupp? What do you think?
Yeah, and that was kind of at the top of my wish list for where he was going to land. Look, there's still teams that are looking and they're playing themselves out. Like I'm trying to think of who's left for him to go to, and his contractual situation is a little bit different. So, I'm not sure that those obvious teams are where he's going to land. People were mentioning Dallas at one point, right? Well, look at where they're at standings-wise. Do you make that investment in bringing a guy like that in at this stage? Anything to kind of shake up the room? Like, there's a huge need in Dallas to have another weapon outside of CeeDee Lamb, is there not?
Yes. I hope
they need a lot of weapons.
They need
so mumuch there, and I don't know that you do that at this stage, but he would certainly be an upgrade to that offense. I mean, I don't know. Buffalo was able to get theirs done, and the top teams have been able to get their guys taken care of. So I'm not sure who's going to make that plunge right now, right?
Yeah. How many sample sizes? I don't know. The contract is, like you said, the thing that I don't think it makes it as easy. How many sample sizes do you need to see if Russ is really going to cook in Pittsburgh?
Well, and that's the other team, right, that has a real receiver need. If you ask me to go alongside of Pickens, I think Justin Fields will be starting for this team before the end of the year. Yeah. I do. I just think he's better. Russ is very feast or famine. The best part that Russ has going for him, in my opinion, is just how good that defense is. And that defense will allow every game to stay close and not, they don't have to rely on Russell to put up a big number game after game. So that'll allow him to kind of stay in it. But I still think by the end of this all, whether it's injury or performance, Justin Fields is going to be the quarterback at the end of the year for Pittsburgh.
All right. What's up with your football? You guys into playoffs? The team you're coaching?
Oh, I just coach a little middle school team. I just help out with an 8th grade team, and we've got one game left. And then my son's team has got a couple games left before they get into playoffs. They're ranked, I think, 2nd or 3rd in the state in their classification. So big games are coming. It'll be fun. And BC High School gets going, and we've got 2 more league games to go in BC High School before we begin playoffs. We can play longer here, right? We're going into December. We got to work around a Taylor Swift concert here in British Columbia. Like the championships are, I think, December 2nd, and we got to get out immediately because Taylor Swift's crew's coming in the next day.
My wife and daughter are going to that concert. I'm starting to hear it daily.
Yeah.
Love it. And I get the calls from my 12-year-old daughter too, because she definitely wants to get there.
Right on, Farhan. Let's catch up next week.
All right, see you guys.
From TSN, Farhan Lalji.
Is your daughter already starting to? Is she coming in with the headset on and she's singing the tunes? Is it more?
No, she wants me to go. Up? She just texted though because she's listening to the program, and about the Halloween costume idea, and she said, "Mom's got to go as Taylor Swift, and you got to go as Travis Kelce." No way you're seeing me go as Travis Kelce. But Curtis over here, young Curtis, never been to Blockbuster. He should go as Patrick Mahomes because he has that curly Patrick Mahomes hair.
That's false. I have been to Blockbuster, but maybe if you go with Travis Kelce, I'll go as Patrick Mahomes. How about that?
No.
Who am I then? Andy Reid?
Curtis has a picture as an infant at Blockbuster, and you could pull off a Travis Kelce, though. You could grow the stash easy and throw in the jersey. It'd be simple to do anyway, Shink. You don't want to put on the Chiefs jersey, though.
I'm not putting on a Chiefs jersey. I want to be a little more creative than that.
Oh, okay.
To be a little more creative in that. We'll have some ideas as we go along here. It is the All New SportsCage. If you're watching that stream on sportscage.com, and as always, we are on the radio, 620 CKRM. Welcome back. All New SportsCage. Shink, Bidsy, Colson, and Curtis here on this Wednesday for Saskatchewan Rough Rider Foundation 50-50. Early birds passed, but I'm sure they'll have another one next week. Riders5050.ca. Today, the Riders come out with their player award nominees. We heard from Roland Milligan earlier, Bidsy, who, of course, is the most outstanding player, most outstanding defensive player, and most outstanding special teams player nominee.
The trifecta.
That is the hat trick. Trifecta. Most outstanding Canadian, Samuel Emelis. Dave Thomas caught up with him earlier today.
Samuel Emelis, back-to-back most outstanding Canadian player nomination, as well as back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. What do they mean?
I mean, it's big, anytime you can contribute to the success of the team in a big way, it's always huge. And like I said, I wouldn't be able to do it without those guys in the locker room, those coaches, everybody in the organization, so it's big.
Is it more satisfying this year now that you're preparing for a playoff run?
Yeah, obviously, this time is for something, so... we all chasing something bigger, so it's always big, and like you said, it's more satisfaction, I would say, yeah.
So at the end of the day, what does this all mean to you?
I don't go in the season really putting goals. Like, obviously, I want to have a good season, but I just know it's going to happen. Whatever stats I have is going to happen. At the end of the day, I just want to win, and as long as I can help the team win by making catches or anything, touchdown or anything of that nature, I just know the stack will come eventually.
Now, are you going to take a moment and celebrate this individual award, or is it just going to roll off your back?
Kind of both. I would say kind of both. Like it's a big honor. I'm honored to have MOC for the second year back to back. But I just know there's something bigger that we all chasing, and I just know that without a award, that means I'm a leader, and I have to keep leading those guys for the bigger goals, which is winning the Grey Cup.
Yeah, Samuel MLS, most outstanding Canadian. We'll hear from Logan Furland in moments, who's nominated most outstanding lineman, rightly so, and Trevor Reed, most outstanding rookie for the Riders. Hey, we're still playing SaskTel Pick the Score. We still have, about 26 minutes in. Colson saying 936-6262. If you want to go to watch Stamps and Riders on Saturday, Mosaic Stadium, what is the score? Thanks to our friends at SaskTel for that. We need your name, number, and where you're from. You got a good chance to win a couple of tickets today, and then also a chance to win a $200 SaskTel gift card if you're close when it comes to score-wise. All right, back out on the Western Pizza hotline. Bidsy, I want to let you take this. Yes, sir. It's actually on the hotline, so if you're watching the stream, he's joining us on the phone now. Bidsy, go ahead.
Okay, this is Mark Stephen joining us from the Calgary Stampeders, the voice of the Calgary Stampeders, former colleague of mine in Calgary, and he has been doing the play-by-play for the Stamps, I believe, for 28 years. Is that right, Mark? And also a member of the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame.
Yep, all accurate, and really good to talk to you, and looking forward to one more game this year, and we'll be in Regina on the weekend, so looking forward to it.
Mark, talk about what you think. Barney and I and Shink and our guests been talking about the Riders going into this game. They, of course, are going to be all fired up because they don't know if they're going to be playing for the Western Final, semifinal, or the Western Final, and that's going to maybe, I guess, create a little bit of a different take depending on what happens in that early game that day between Montreal and Winnipeg. But talk about what the Stampeder players are going to be feeling going into this one, because they know what they're playing for, and that's nothing as far as extending their season, but these guys are playing for jobs, right?
Oh, yeah, no question. When you finish in the basement, there's going to be change, and exactly what that is, we don't know right now. They've also got a couple of other things. They haven't won since August the 4th, so that would be some incentive right there. And, they haven't won on the road yet this year, so it's been a really rough season. So those are sort of two things that they'll try to, change. Well, they got one more chance to do it. They better change it on Saturday. So those are some things, but no question, at the top level, it is who's going to be here next year, because it's clearly not working right now.
What's the main thing, Mark, that you think hasn't worked for the Stamps?
Well, it's been inconsistent play at all levels, but it starts at the quarterback. Jake Mayer has moved the ball well at times and put up some good stats at times, but it hasn't resulted in touchdowns and big points. It hasn't done so at a regular clip. He has had some good games. I mean, you look at the stats, he's up there in several categories. But in the one, finding the end zone, he just isn't up there. So that's been one of the biggest problems. The other one, and it was exposed in the last time they played the Riders here on September the 20th. They just haven't been able to stop the run. Armstead was just fantastic against the Stampeders, but he's not the only guy that has carried the ball and run up some big yards. So those would be two of the big things. And just it seems, I just think that, they get, I call it, facing the tidal wave every week. They go running on the beach, running into the ocean, and as they're about to set foot in the ocean, a big wave smacks them back to reality, and they end up, reversing whatever momentum they've had. So it's been a tough season.
That happened to me once in Waikiki.
Yeah, did it?
Yeah, true story.
Chestermere Lake, yeah. Anyway,
I thought I was going to die. I was in grade 8.
Okay.
True story. When you look at the rest of the West, okay, and you're an outsider here, who's the best team, or who's the most scary team, do you think?
Saskatchewan. All I can say is any team that has a ball bounce off of 9 guys, 9 hands, end up in somebody's hand and go into the end zone, there's destiny on their side. I'm not saying they're the most talented team, but I think they're a team that seems to have some destiny on its side. How does that happen? But guess what? It's working, and maybe it is the Saskatchewan Roughriders year. I don't know.
Shout out to Curtis Gammon. He brought that up on our stream here right away as soon as you said that. And yeah, that was making the most of a lucky bounce. Going to ask you this question, Mark. It was posed to Dave Dickinson. I'm sure you saw this. Somebody asked him, are you worried about job security? Are you worried that you're going to have a job after this year, Dave, because of your record? He used a 4-letter friend getter in frustration responding to that question. Your thoughts on if Dave Dickinson has anything to worry about as far as job security?
Well, I would say this. That's what everybody's waiting for, too, after the season. I would say this. I'm pretty sure he's going to be with the organization next year. I'm comfortable in saying that. But, the fact is maybe they'll have to revise his responsibilities and just be GM, just be head coach or something or other. Because, the last 2 seasons have not been good. I mean, they won 10 games in the last 2 seasons. And the only reason they extended their playoff streak last year was courtesy of a lengthy Saskatchewan losing streak. And that's it. So they haven't done enough in the last 2 years. So clearly some changes have to be made. And when you're in the top position, the first line of responsibility is looking at you.
What's the move?
Go ahead, Shane.
This is my last one. Sorry. I don't know the football culture in Calgary enough, but what is it there? Are people? Do we need a winner to bring everyone back? The excitement to the Stamps, or have things shifted where it's not the football town maybe it once was? Sorry, I've never been to a game there. I want to go. I just don't know where it lands.
Well, I would say 2 things. There's a lot of frustration here, make no mistake about it. And, my inbox and certainly the Stampeders' inbox is full on a regular basis with angry people going right after Dave Dickinson and right after, Jake Mayer. They're the 2 guys on the crosshairs right now in the high-profile positions. The Stampeders have had a bit of an attendance issue the last couple of years. It's certainly, a function of their record, a function of an aging stadium. And honestly, I think they still haven't recovered from the missed season in COVID. An awful lot of people just said, I can devote my time and my few $1,000s somewhere else. And they lost a lot of people that just for whatever reason chose not to come back. So it's been a triple whammy, and their attendance is not where they need it to be either. So I would say certainly step one, though, would be get the product back into playoff and Grey Cup contention.
Play the slappers and the table games at Cowboys Bidsy. That's where people are putting their couple grand. Sorry, Biz, go ahead.
That's okay. Yeah, the slappers, yeah. Last one from me, Mark, and I'll finish with this one. And I'm going to use a quote that our friend of ours, Rhett Warner, said about the stadium at McMahon Stadium, and he said it's a dump. And it is. And compared to, of course, our stadium here in Saskatchewan and Winnipeg's and Hamilton's and basically everybody else's, unfortunately. But Calgary's getting a new hockey arena, so I don't think they're getting a stadium for a while. Last one from me. Quarterback position, as you mentioned, is a huge issue, is the biggest issue for the Stampeders in order for them to at least turn around their fate next year to become a winning franchise again. Who would you like them to go after?
Well, I think the obvious guy that should be out there, I think, is going to be Vernon Adams. And, and that goes in line with another thing, their philosophy. They haven't been the big push on the free agent market. They might have to change that this year. So if Vernon Adams is out there and they decide to move on from Jake Mayer, I think that's the route to go. He's created excitement. He's, the guy they've turned to in BC. BC will have a real stink bomb on their hand if he takes them to the Grey Cup, but that's their problem. But anyway, that's where I would go. They've got to take a look outside the organization because I think they've decided Jake Mayer isn't the guy.
Go ahead, Shink.
Hey, I was just going to say, Mark, I know you're on the air till 5:30, and you hopped on to do this with us. Totally appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Just got some time here to sit back and relax and get ready. We're going to talk some more football in my talk show later on tonight. So that's just the way it goes. Obviously, talk has now shifted to the Flames, who are red hot right now out of the gate. But no, it's not a great situation with the Stampeders. It's been a struggle. It's bringing questions to the forefront that they haven't had to address in a long, long time. So, I think the most interesting place in the CFL in the off season will be Calgary.
Right on, Mark.
Yeah, at least you get to come to Saskatchewan. At least that's in your future. So that's a good thing. And it's supposed to be a nice day for football.
Well, good. All of the above, and I enjoy visiting Regina, and we'll just get a chance to visit with some people I know there. So I do look forward to it. And other people say, "Oh, you got to go to Regina." I look forward to it. I mean, especially with the forecast the way it is. So we will see.
I'll trade you a Western pizza if you bring a bag of Pete's Drive-In cheeseburgers and some fries.
Burgers. Well, not a bad idea. Yeah, it's on the way to the airport tomorrow, so maybe that's what I should do. Yeah. So
Mark, thanks so much. Safe travels and have fun in Regina.
Okay, we'll see you guys on Saturday.
Right on.
See you, buddy. Hope to see you there.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, me too. Sounds good.
Bidsy will be down on the sidelines doing his thing for the Rider game. If you're not going to the game, you don't want to play SaskTel. Pick the score, 936-6262. You can always listen to the game right here on 620 CKRM. Everything starts with the Croft Electric countdown to kickoff, 2 p.m. Then Dave and Luke join the pregame show at 4 and kickoff at 5 p.m. Always have your say after, too. I love listening to the call-in show after, and I write down notes. I'm like, yeah, crazy guy talked about this. I love when the kids call in. The kids are great. Colson always does a great job opping that and getting that in. Okay, back to our Riders here. And I know people are wondering, most outstanding lineman nominee for the Riders. Pretty easy choice as well. Shout out Regina Thunder alumni going into the national semifinal. It was Logan Ferland. Dave Thomas chatted with him earlier.
Logan Ferland, this is the third consecutive Most Outstanding Offensive Lineman award for you from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. What does that mean?
Honestly, it doesn't mean much without a Grey Cup. That's the main thing we're here for. I think you'll hear any of the individual awards from anyone. I think they're going to be saying the same thing. That's really what I'm here for, and I'm going to celebrate the individual award once we have a ring on our finger.
You started at 3 spots along the offensive line this season. What does that say about your flexibility?
Yeah, I think versatility is important. I think a lot of our guys are able to do it, as you've seen. We're able to fill in multiple spots, and really props goes to Ed for keeping us prepared for every possible outcome. And I also think a lot about, my Thunder days, and I had to change a lot of positions then, so I started out young, so that's really helped me out.
Is the award this time around more satisfying knowing that you'll be playing playoff football?
In a way. I mean, I more see it as the work's not done yet. Like I said, I'm not satisfied till we're hoisting that cup.
You mentioned Grey Cup to me earlier. How big of a motivator is that?
That's what keeps me going every day. I mean, I've been here through some bad times, and I'm sick of it. And I put the work in every day in the off season, so we don't have that. And like I said, I really try to do everything I can to help the team as a whole, and not just individually, but how can we get better as a unit? How can we get better as an offense? And how can we get better as a team?
So maybe the last question, you hailing from Melfort, what does it say that a lot of the award nominees in this category are from Saskatchewan?
I think toughness. I think mental toughness. The prairies, it breeds. That's exactly what it is. Mental, physical. We just get to work. There's no excuses. That's how we're raised out here, especially being from a small town. You don't have to be the rah-rah guy. You don't have to be the loudest in the room. Just put your head down and get to work, and that's really the mentality of Saskatchewan.
Yeah, great interview. The work is not done, right? It isn't.
No, for sure. And you know what I love about Logan Ferland too, when you're talking about him and what he's done since being a member of the Saskatchewan Roughriders and him playing junior football. Just another great offensive lineman, right? That has been with the Riders for a long time, a long tenure. And from Saskatchewan, talk about Roger Aldag all the way back from Gull Lake, right? And Gene Mikowski is Saskatoon, and Logan Ferland, guys that played football in Saskatchewan, from Saskatchewan, and then went on to the Riders to play a number of years and have a great career there.
Staying on that offensive line, rookie, most outstanding rookie for the Riders, nominee, of course, I knew this was coming too, Trevor Reed. Davey and Trevor Reed. Earlier today.
Trevor Reed, if we could go all the way back to training camp in Saskatoon, and I told you, you're going to be the rookie of the year come October, what would you have said to that?
Hey, man,
been a long season. I'm just blessed to be here.
So how have you improved your game along the way from then to now?
Just trying to talk to the older guys and trying to pick their brains and just trying to do whatever they do. And that's my biggest thing, is trying to take up after what they do. That's the biggest thing. I mean, like I said, it's a blessing, but hey, job's not done. I won't feel good until we get to the Grey Cup. So
you're one of the very few offensive linemen that have started every game. What does that mean to you?
It's a blessing, but like I say, job's not finished until we get to the Grey Cup.
So being the most outstanding rookie, we know how your athleticism is. Does that warrant a backflip, or do we need to win a Grey Cup for the backflip to come?
I need the Grey Cup. I need the Grey Cup. It don't mean nothing.
Yes, doesn't mean nothing. If you missed it, you can get it all in podcast form. We talked to all of them: Roland Milligan Jr., Samuel Ennis, Logan Furlan, and Trevor Reed. Good job from those boys. But yeah, it doesn't mean nothing without a Grey Cup. We have hockey news when we come back. WHL Cup started. Big Sasky. Big for Sasky hockey right now. It's All New SportsCage on 620 CKRM. I wanted to get to Eric Francis was an absolute runaway today. If you want to go back and listen, actually you need to watch that one. Go back and watch the Eric Francis segment. If you don't laugh, there's something wrong with you. It was hilarious. Brought to you by Southie Mainline Chrysler, the king of trucks in Southie, Saskatchewan. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed. One thing I didn't get to with him, Bidsy, and I will next week, because it's the last week for the Kenniston Super Draft next week. So you got to get your team in. So the SportsCage one is right here. If you're watching the stream, we only have, we have Connor McDavid, shout out Jamarcus Hardrick, picked that. Good pick. Nathan McKinnon picked. We have Nikita Kucherov picked, and we got Jack Eichel picked. So we got to fill this out. Maybe the boys tomorrow. It's Dave and Maz in tomorrow filling in. I'll let them pick a few as well. But hockey-wise, if you're a fan of WHL hockey and Sasky hockey, the male under 16 WHL Cup starts today in Red Deer. Saskatchewan's on the ice 7 p.m. against Alberta tonight. So we're going to keep in track of that. This is the top draft eligible players, WHL draft.
The WHL, yeah.
Yeah, that are playing for Sask. And there are some good players on here. Just Southern Saskatchewan-wise, Cade Mitchell, Gull Lake, Saskatchewan. Shout out Greyhounds. Adam Montaigne, Regina Pat Blue last year. Regina Pat Canadian this year. Merrick McIver from Davidson. Shout out A&W. Boston Tate from Estevan. That kid's a player. He's on the leadership group of this one too. Aiden Wagner from Yorkton. We have Sam Fallier from Dundurn. Connor Howe, Tanner Howe's brother. Connor Howe, is he a player from Prince Albert? So Connor Howe is number 12 for Team Saskatchewan. Carter Moen from Swift Current. That is Travis Moen's son.
Yep.
Really
a lot
good.
Of connections.
Really good hockey player. We got
another
Trey,
generational player.
Yep. Trey Peterson from Sturgis. Central Butte, shout out Hunter Wilm. Chase Sirkan, he's my neighbor. He lives around the corner from me. NOD, Regina. He just played his first game with the Brandon Wheat Kings.
Wow. So did you see this kid growing up? Did you see him out there chasing around the orange ball, playing street hockey? You
funny
always
story.
knew him?
Funny story.
Okay, glad
this kid, I've never really talked to him. I just said congratulations to him. I coached his brother in flag football. This kid shoots so many hockey pucks, and now he's drafted. He just played with his first game with the Brandon Wheat Kings as a Regina Pat Canadian, got called up. He still shoots in his garage. People walk by, and all you hear is ting, ting, ting. He still just sits and fires pucks. He's got a sick shot. Yeah.
Wow. Well, hey, that's a reminder to the kids out there. That's what gets you to the next level.
Don't be like Bidsy and I. Always keep practicing, kids out there.
Don't get off the BMX unless you're going to be a professional BMXer.
They have 7 o'clock against Team Alberta, Sasky at the WHL Cup. The boys will have a rundown tomorrow. Bidsy, good show, buddy. Always fun.
You too, pal. Always fun with you too.
Curtis, good job. Colson, no erroneous information today, so that's a win. Like I said, Dave Thomas and Chris Mazurek, have you tomorrow. It's the All New SportsCage. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you Friday. Oh, Around the Horn. Yes, we have Around the Horn.
It's time to go around the horn for Shorty Generators. Keep the power in your hands with an automatic standby generator from Shorty Generators, the standby generator experts. The Major League Baseball playoffs are on pause until Friday night. That's when Game 1 of the World Series opens in Los Angeles, and the Dodgers hosting the New York Yankees. If you haven't made plans for the night, tickets are still available online for resale purchase. The best price you're going to get right now, just under $1,100 per ticket in American dollars. Now, the series itself is shaping up to be one for the ages, with Yankee slugger Aaron Judge taking on Dodger MVP Shohei Ohtani. And from Judge, there's a lot of mutual respect between the two superstars.
I feel like everything's obvious. Hits for average, hits for power, the speed. Doing what he did this year with the 50 stolen bases. That's it got talked about a lot, but I don't think it got talked about enough. It's just he's an impressive athlete. The best player in the game, and what an ambassador for the sport. We have had our battles throughout the regular season over the years. When he was with the Angels, playing kind of back and forth. Seeing him hit homers over my head, and having some good series. But getting a chance to play on the biggest stage and the biggest moment, I think that's going to be pretty cool to watch. He's just, like I said, he's such a great ambassador for this game. He plays the game the right way. You see him hustling around the diamond. I think that just sets such a great example for our youth and all the kids that are going to be watching this series. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to this matchup.
Now, the man that will be tasked to hold off Judge in the Yankee offense will be Dodgers pitcher Jack Flaherty, who's been named Los Angeles' starter for Game 1.
It'll be fun, be exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to Friday. There's no bigger stage than this, and it's what we all wanted as kids, and the position we wanted to be in. So it's I don't really have any words for it. I'm just looking forward to Friday. For me, every game during the season is the biggest game of the year, so it doesn't change going into the playoffs and going into the World Series, and the mindset stays the same. The adjustments start to start and pitch to pitch are always a little different between starts. Some you got to tweak a little bit, some tweak a little bit more, but it's not. You don't have to reinvent everything. It's just figuring out what those small adjustments are and what they might be, and it's one of those things that you look forward to, and you gotta look forward to facing the best of the best that are out there, and they've got some guys that have been studs for a really long time, and guys who have continued to do it and are just they're really damn good, and there's not much more to it than that. It's just going to be an incredible matchup.
Game 1 and 2 will go Friday and Saturday in Los Angeles before the series shifts to the Bronx for Games 3, 4, and 5 Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Game 6 and 7, if necessary, will be back in LA Friday and Saturday, November 1st and 2nd. And that's Around the Horn. For Shorty Generators, keep the power in your hands with an automatic standby generator from Shorty Generators, the standby generator experts.